Well, holy shit, man. I just killed a long part of the show. I'm sorry. I couldn't be more retarded right now. All right, well, can you guys hear me now? Yeah. Anybody realize that there's a show? Holy shit, man. See, I wasn't even reading, man. My bad. That's on me. Okay, thank you. Thanks, everybody. My apologies. Well, I set everything up beside of the microphone, and it was sitting on my computer desk on mute. So I was sitting here blathering like an idiot, man, which is normally what I do best. So, man, wow, totally allowed me to repeat and just go back to stage one here. Let me go back to where I first was, which was here. There we go. And talk about this. Tonight, being Tuesday, is my regular live night at 6 p.m. Eastern time. But, you know, it being New Year's Eve, I thought that this would be a good time for me to give my predictions for 2020 on the Delphi murder case, the Evansdale, Mary Pryor, Ann Pates, possibly Susan Collins, and any other murders that may have been committed by Thomas Bruce in California. So I wanted to kind of roll that into what I'm talking about this evening. Got it? Okay. So now allow me to begin one more time. When he was arrested down in St. Louis for the Catholic supply store sexual assault and homicide, I think that what happened is that his fingerprints, being the first time he was ever arrested, came back as the unknowns for Delphi. I think that was the matchup, and I think that's why they called Carroll County. They said, hey, man, we got a guy down here on first-degree murder, was dressed just like Bridge Guy. Looks like your sketch, had never committed a crime before, didn't have fingerprints DNA in the database, but his fingerprints match the ones that match your crime scene. And I think that was the tip-off. Now, the day after that, the FBI shows up to get his DNA sample. Why? Because they felt that he was involved with Delphi and Evansdale. That was the whole reason for that. That's why they was there that quick. That's why they got his DNA. So now I figured that after they called Carroll County, talked to Sheriff Leslie, hey, I'm Sheriff Leslie. Yeah, man, we got your dude down here. Once he knew that, man, once he got the photos, man, that's when he took him to the two people that seen the suspect that day. So is this the guy? Is this here the dude? Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, he knew that they had their guy down in St. Louis jail. He knew that the guy couldn't harm anybody. He was behind bars. So they had no reason to release his name. They couldn't go talk to him. He's under representation legally by his public defender. So they couldn't talk to him. Same as Daniel Nations was out in Colorado. You see where I'm at? So in knowing that they couldn't go talk to him nor investigate any further with him, they went and talked to his family, his friends, his neighbors, the people that knew him. The FBI did. Why? Because they knew he was involved with the Delphi case. They had his DNA. They matched it straight back. In an interview, Sheriff Leslie had said, we sent our suspect DNA off to Quantico FBI headquarters right before Christmas. That was in 2018, 1 month after his arrest. So it is Thomas Bruce, and I want to be clear on that. It is Thomas Bruce that committed the murders there. Now, I can say in Delphi and Evansdale, I can put those two in the same likelihood, 100%. He committed both of those. Now, Mary Pryor, that's taking more of a stab. It's his motive. It's how he is. She lived across the street from a bar, which meant that he would have been drinking probably prior to. She was 88. She was defenseless. And it was like 10 miles from his hometown in Michigan when he was living in Flint. That's why I put that one there. Now, Ann Pates, it was the opposite. It was just outside of Montrose, Michigan, but it was en route to where he lived in Flint. But that was at 2 o'clock in the morning. Why 2 o'clock in the morning? That's when the bar closed in Montrose. He was on his way home. Her car was broke down, seen her by her car, opportunity. He's an opportunistic killer. That's what he dwells on, is the opportunity. If the opportunity presents itself and he says, hey, no one's around to see, I can get away with this. I have no fingerprints of DNA in the database. Fuck it. Then he goes, he does his deed. So, anyways, they know, Carroll County does, and I'm sure at least in part the people working on the case within law enforcement, FBI and such, they know who did it, but they know more than I do. I mean, they know about the others where the DNA connects, where I can't match that. They know where the fingerprints arise at, where I don't have that. But what I have done is manually looked at it, manually broken it down and investigated to every degree of circumstance, of every degree of fact. And that, is he here? Yeah, tell me when he arrives, if you would, please, AB. So with that, that is why I believe that he is the suspect. Now, what's going to happen in 2020 is going to begin probably like this. We're about, let me see, a month and a half, pretty much a month and a half away from the third year. And that's when they hold the press conference. Now, people have asked me, well, do you think that they're going to announce that he's a good? No, I doubt that they do, because they got pretty close to a year before they can talk to him. And I don't think that they're going to file charges until at which time they talk to him. So I think that the third year press conference will probably go just like the first two did before it. We know you're out there, and you think you're being hidden and you think you're playing it really good. But, we got people on this and we'll find you. You better believe that. And they'll play it identically to the same way that they have the first 2 years. The difference is between the first one, when I was allowed into and got to ask a question, and the second one where they said, no way you're coming back. Get the F out of here. Because you ain't coming in to ask no questions. There it is, pal. We ain't going to have your questions about Thomas Bruce at our press conference. So I won't be allowed at the third year. That will remain the same. But no problem. I'll be right here to discuss everything that was quipped about at it live. So, I'll be right here. Don't worry. Don't worry, no. But I think it will go the same as normal. Now, I could be shocked, man, and they could announce that, hey, that we do have a person that we feel is responsible, but he's in jail on differing charges, but we're further investigating. They could say that. Maybe. I'm just throwing out some options here is that they could play. But I think as the overall goes, man, the third year press conference is going to be the same as every other. Now, moving forward from that, I think that there may be, possibly, because, as every year's went by, we've been handed different persons of interest for different reasons. I could go over the names: Daniel Nations, Charles Eldridge, what's his name, Garrett Kurtz. There was another LaFon dude, that dude. There was people all over the place, man. So another may pop up. For same reasons. It would be more of a media person of interest. When asked about it to law enforcement, they'll say the same as they always do. Like, you know what, man, we got 46,000 persons of interest. This guy's just like every other one. He's investigated, woo-whoopty, woo-woo-woo, and they'll leave it at that because they're not going to talk further. They won't talk about their investigation. That's what they're keeping in their pocket. That's why they don't want to release the name. If they say, hey, he did it, man, we got DNA and fingerprints, ta-da. Well, that's all well, good and fine, but what's the media going to say? Well, how do you know? Maybe his DNA was there, but how do you know he did it? Did he have anything to say? Do you know the car? Do you have the, that's the media questions, and that's what they want to avoid. That's why it's hush in Delphi. That's why they're not speaking his name. So that will come out in due time. Now, I think it's going to be after October of 2020, man, once he goes to his jury trial. Now, I don't know if they will offset that with sentencing or sentence him at the spot. Like, say they come back and they say, yes, we find him guilty of like almost every charge. Okay, great. Fair enough. Well, we got you on life without parole. So, yeah, we're going to issue life without parole. Cool enough, man. They give him life without parole. But now at that time, he's got to go to prison, okay? He's got to go get his DOC number for prison. Now, here in Indiana, we call that RDC, Regional Diagnostic Center. That's where you go before you go to prison. They send you there, you get your DOC number, they shave your head, all that horse shit. Then they bus you off to the prison that you're going to. So he's got to get his DOC number, but at that point, he is then fair game. Now, I can think that Iowa's going to go talk to him. Indiana's going to talk to him. Michigan's damn sure going to be talking to him. So that's 3 different states right there with 6 different murders that are going to be down there to talk to him. And I put that at a minimum. I really do, because of the brutality of this Susan Collins murder. If he was anywhere in that area, I would put him as suspect number 1, primary suspect. No doubt about it, man, because that was brutal. And that's his calling card, is the brutality. You know, understand, man, this is one evil bastard. So they will come out with that, but they got to go talk to him first. Now, if I look at that and I say, okay, jury trial's in October, you know what? Maybe they sentence him in November. Fair enough. Now you got 30 days after that into the December. So it could be into December of 2020 to January of 2021. And if it falls into January 2021, because of all the different cases that it's got to make a case, if you see where I'm at, they got to make their case. Now they know who did it. You see where I'm at? So that gives a little extra time. Now that all of them are set up and they say, okay, man, we got our cases in order. Great. Now we're going to come out. But it's not just going to be Delphi. This will be an all involvement that he confessed to. And they're going to name the murders, all of them. And all of these places at that time will then file charges. Now, they could wait till an anniversary date, and the closest anniversary date to that time would be Delphi. And I think that the Delphi's 4th year press conference would be a prime time for that announcement. You know, that's just me. But I think if they came out on the 4th year and said, look, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. You know, we got the man that did this. We kind of knew for a while, but we needed time till we could go talk to him, you know, and this kind of deal. Then, like, list that out. With the other cases, I think that will be, one, it would be a media circus. Because let me tell you something, when he shows up in Carroll County, look, Al Jazeera will be there, okay? There will not be a news outlet in this world that isn't there, including me. You know, everybody will be there. The National Guard will be there. So, 22 people. Man, everybody's getting drunk, man. 21 people. Oh, why me, man? It always happens to me like this. And I don't know why. I feel bad, man. Thank you. And thanks for being here, Incognito. Always good to see you guys. Yeah, you know what? 21 people, man, 7 thumbs up. What the F, man? Really? 24 people. Okay, hey, my popularity, it zooms. Look at me. All right. So, anywho, now that's how I feel that's going to happen with Delphi. Now, in Evansdale, there they got a problem. They have a problem there, man, because look, the bodies were found, 6-7 months after the fact. So there wouldn't really be the fingerprints or DNA. The only thing that could really tie him, since there wasn't a person that saw the suspect, is the vehicle. Now, I've looked through DMV, or taxes anyway, trying to check for that, and I could not. But I know that he's the suspect there. That much is known fact, man. He is that dude. Whoever it was that was driving that vehicle was him. Matt Blanc. Oh, hey, Matt. How you doing? So they're going to have a harder time. But the thing is that he could readily admit to that. He could say, yeah, I did Evansdale, man. I did. Because they don't have no death penalty. He isn't afraid of the death penalty. I mean, he's only afraid of the death penalty. If they give him life without parole, no problem. I'm doing that down in Missouri. No issue at all to him. He could admit to everything in every state that does not carry the death penalty. But I'm sure that Indiana does, because we still kill people in Indiana. And I do believe Michigan still does, because I hear they still kill people in Michigan. You know, so those are the ones that he would need concern about. Now, the citizens of Evansdale, they have kind of demanded as much as they could that when the perpetrator is arrested, when he ever is, to give him the death penalty. But Iowa isn't a death penalty state, you see, so it doesn't really matter, I mean, to them. But that's the hardest one to prove, because firstly, they got to say why he was there, why he drove there, what he drove there. I mean, you're looking back at 2012. There is no DNA. Nobody's seen him. They only have a suspect like vehicle, but no license plate. So that one's going to be a little harder to prove. But again, man, if you're doing life without parole, man, for murder, okay, and you know you're hit on Delphi, he's hit like in no uncertain terms on Delphi. Man, they got video evidence, they have audio, they have two people that seen him, they have DNA, they have fingerprints, they have the whole bloody nine. They got him in Delphi, and he knows that. So Evansdale, man, that's going to be a little bit different. Now, Mary Pryor, man, that's a little bit easy because they can place him there. They do have DNA. The same with Ann Pates, they have DNA. But I want you guys to realize that everyone that I'm talking about, aside of Evansdale, has DNA. Now, why is it that DNA never showed up? Huh? I mean, look, they had the DNA from Ann Pates since 1999. They had the DNA from Mary Pryor from 1997. Why didn't it ever pop up on anybody? Because that person's DNA was not in the database. Just like Thomas Bruce. Just like Delphi. Do you see where I'm at? It's an unusual suspect, man. It's an unusual suspect whose DNA is not in a database that perpetrates brutal rapes and murders like that. I mean, you know, it's like I told Kim Riley, man. You would assume a person would have priors. He's like, well, yeah, right. But, you know, you got to start somewhere, which I thought was a little cold. I mean, like speaking of the crime that was committed, you know, but I'm sure he didn't mean it that way. In fact, he may have felt a little bit nervous, you know, just in talking about it. I don't know. It's just me. So anyway, now with Mary Pryor, again, they got the DNA there. They can match that to him. Not only do they have DNA, and this is another thing that I want to point out concerning there being fingerprints in Delphi. They have fingerprints. They have the fingerprints because she was drugged 150 yards in her backyard to a swampy area that was in the woods. They had the fingerprints off of her clothes. They have DNA, but neither one matched. That means that that person that did that in 1997 had never... There's Icons. Look at him, man. There he is being all Icons. How you doing, Sergeant America? So that means that if they have fingerprints and they have DNA, but they had no suspect or nobody that they could nail with it, that means that that person had never been caught committing a crime before. So, and again, that falls right back to my suspect, Thomas Bruce. So all of this applies in the same way. Fingerprints, DNA, no suspect. And the only reason for that was, like Trooper Riley had told me, it looks like the man had never committed a crime before, never been caught. So, Happy New Year. Man, I hope you guys have a fantastic New Year out there, Icons. So it all falls back under the same light, that the person had never been caught committing a crime. Now, what are the statistical odds of a person committing such a heavy crime like these, but never having been have any arrest, not even a PI for that matter, never broken the law? That is a very rare animal, very rare indeed. So that's why I offer those up as being the same, you know, that all of those were. Now, again, I'm pointing to Evansdale, but I give that under certain light, man. It's the criteria of it. It was done on 7/13/12. You reverse that, it's 2/13/17. That's the date of the Delphi murders. It was pre-set up on that date. Identical crimes, man. If you go to Evansdale, you're traveling up Interstate 381. Now, you would make a right onto exit 70. And once you go there, that takes you around Evans Lake, where you end up at the exit to the trail. But that's where he seen the two bikes at. That's where he got out of his vehicle, walked out, found the two girls, got him back to his car, and abducted him. Okay. Now, in that, he took them to Seven Bridges Park, which was 25 miles to the northeast of there. And their bodies were found months later. But again, you didn't have anybody that seen him. You know, nobody saw the guy's face. Nobody got a license plate number. But the one thing that they said was it was an old boxy style white Suburban. Well, that was in 2012. So, I mean, that goes, you know, that's going back. Now, the one thing that does fit that is the Jeep Cherokee. And that is what we thought we had found. Again, man, there is a little bit more on that. But believe me, the driver of that vehicle was Thomas Bruce. But again, man, they have a hard time with that. They don't have fingerprints. They don't have DNA. They ain't even got like a, a sketch. Anybody that's seen him. All they have is a car type. And now you're looking at, God, man, what? 7, 8 years ago. You know, so you'd be looking at like an 8-year-old memory. Yeah, that was the kind of car I saw, you know. But those are kind of my predictions, man. I think that when it does come out, and it will maybe because, you know, and again, I'm kind of lowballing this, saying in 2020, but it could happen in late 2020. All right. But I'm not ruling out that it couldn't happen in January of 2021. And then they announce all of it on the 4th anniversary of the Delphi murders. Because I think that that would be a very prime time, man. It would. You would have the spotlight. You know, you would have the media. But you could really tell the media, like, okay, you know what? You really want to be here. You know, kind of reach like the higher up, man, media, man. Like, you know, whoever the higher up medias may be. I look at all of them in the same light, but, you know, they are what they are. But that's why they don't want me there. They know that I'm going to be asking some real shit. They don't want that. They don't want real shit. Law enforcement does not want real shit. 15 thumbs up. Oh, 2 down. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's Cunningham. Yeah, he'll do that every time out, man. I ain't worried about him. He usually gives me 12. Bluff. Hey, man, calm down over there, puppy. Perfect. I'll tell you what first tipped me off was because I had read an article, and it was the day after he was arrested, I believe. That would have been probably November 22nd. It was probably about 22nd. It may have been the 23rd. But I know that the article said that, like, St. Louis County had reached Carroll County concerning a man that they had arrested. And I was all like, okay, want to read further into this. So as I'm reading down through the article, it states that the man committed first-degree murder. I'm like, okay, yeah, that kind of fits. He was dressed like Bridge Guy, and I thought, wow, that really does fit. He looks like your sketch, and I'm like, really? Let me go find the fucking sketch of this guy. So I go get his mugshot of this guy. I pull it up and I look at it and I'm like, oh, fuck me. Hell yeah, that's the sketch. I was taking, like, you know, his face was the making of that sketch. It was kind of that apparent. So then I started looking into the guy because I thought, okay, oh, no, wait. And thirdly, they said this man had never broken a law before. He had never been arrested. Had no database, had no DNA in the database, no fingerprints. So I'm like, yeah. Now I knew that fit because that's the information that I got. That's what I got from Trooper Riley. It looks like this man had never committed a crime before. Well, people said, well, yeah, but they only got DNA. Well, if that's true, then why would he say, well, maybe he has committed a crime before, but we can find no trace of him? Well, if it was just DNA that you're looking at very unusual crimes, aggressive sexual crimes. That's when they take your DNA. All right. Now it's starting to change, but we're looking pre-2017. So then it's like, why would he say we could find no trace of him if it was only DNA? I mean, if it was DNA and that's all that they was working off of, he could only say, well, his DNA doesn't match in the database, so we know that he hasn't committed these crimes. You see where I'm at? But to say no crime, it looks like the suspect has never committed a crime. That says fingerprints. Because look, man, if you're arrested, the one thing they always take is your photo and your fingerprints. Thirdly, depending upon the crime, DNA. But if you don't have fingerprints in a database, you've never been arrested. And that's how he knew. And that's why I've stated since the first year that, yes, the suspect did, in fact, leave fingerprints in Delphi. Everybody's like, no, there ain't no way. He would have wore gloves like he was a computer hacker or some shit. And I'm like, look, these people that are out there and do that to like children, they're not very bright, man. They're not all that upstairs. They ain't got that happening, man. The guy was liquored up, man. He was there for a reason. Now, he knew he didn't have any fingerprints in the database. I mean, look, man, he had already committed to Mary Pryor and Ann Pates. He left his DNA all over. He didn't give a shit. He was drunk. He knew he didn't have fingerprints in the database. Didn't give a shit. He wasn't gloved, man. His hands were in his pockets. You could clearly tell they weren't gloved. And that's why I'm telling you, since year one, they have fingerprints in Delphi. That was the tip-offs for St. Louis. They matched the unknowns. Oh, did he show up? Hey, man, have a happy new year, Jane. In fact, man, I'm kind of wishing everybody here, and I was going to say that to the end of the show, but hey, whatever, man. Listen, everybody, I want you all to have a fantastic 2020. Man, we got big plans. We got big plans here at Channel Michael Katt. Huge plans. Me and Wolf, we've been talking about this thoroughly, okay? So then we started laying it out to others. Last night, I was on the telephone with a very good friend of mine who was talking about the prospects of prosperity in 2020, and I could not agree more. Ain't that right? Yeah. Could not agree more. 2020 is going to be a fantastic year, and I cannot wait for it. Well, I can't wait for it to get here, but you know, I mean, you know, the ending's kind of it's what I want, but I want it to be a long year in the meantime because I got a lot of work to do between now and the end of 2020. That's what's going to take me the long time. Oh, okay. Matt? Explain why. I will wait. Tell me why. I want to know, Matt. Give me your evidence on it. I got all day, man. I got all day, Matt. Tell me your evidence. Blue waves. The new roaring 20s. You know what? Let's hope it is. Let's hope it don't end the same way. You know, let's hope 2029 isn't the same as 1929. But yeah, man, I would dig a big market like that. Because you know what? I was talking to a lady the other day. Okay. Fair enough, Matt. I get it. Let's halt it there. I was talking to a lady the other day. She was a banker and, you know, actually an investment banker. And I was talking to her, man. I'm like, wow. So that's very interesting. I said, because, man, I spent like a couple of years looking at ways to invest my money, you know, through like options, you know, stock, real estate. All of it was more money than I had actually, but you know, I could have threw at least a sum into some options, but it would have to be damn good. You know, it would have to be something very approved of, or I could be like wasting my money. So I was talking to her about that because I thought, man, of all jobs to have, man, this would be a lady that would probably be in the know in investing. Though I didn't really carry that conversation on with her though, but you know, I mean, I was thinking about that. That's right. Yes, sir. Or actually Kim on the Trail. There it is. Yes, Icons is going to have a fantastic year, a very fantastic year. And that's another 2020 prediction for you, because Icons is going to have this wrapped up. You know what? He is, if you do not know who Icons is, that is his channel name, capital ICONS. Go there, check it out, watch what he has to say. Now, we're going to try to like really fix up his editing a little bit, man. Try to really make it a little bit more, with some production, really get his channel going. But man, if you want to see some common sense, real live thought, the real shit, go check out his channel, man. You won't be disappointed. Hey, there's Devil Ants. How you doing, buddy? Wait, are we playing Tennessee? I didn't even know. Yeah. You know what? I'm not laying this out as any prediction, but I mean, like when you're talking about like 1929, there must come a day. I mean, there must come a day with the Federal Reserve there has to come a day. Interest must be paid. If you see where I'm at, there's got to come a day when all this becomes due. Is my point, because I think that originally, man, they may have had the whole, at least I heard that they had the whole thing in it when Obama was in office of dropping the dollar, and I forget what in the hell the reason was for that. I think they was going to drop it as world reserve currency or something along that line. And they was going to, man, I forget what in the hell it is. Icons probably knows. What it is I was talking about on that. But anyway, there's going to come a time when the dollar becomes empty, and it is empty. I mean, it's backed by nothing. It's a promise to pay, nothing more than that, like monopoly money. It's held in check by our faith that it's spendable, that it's worth something. But see, we owe all this money with the interest upon that money. Now, that interest is what's got to be paid. Now, there's going to come a day, man, through inflation and such, that the dollar will crash. And that is why I have used my investment money in toilet paper. Because when shit hits the fan, people will make some good swap for toilet paper. Okay, I was half kidding about that part. But, it is good barter. Okay, any questions on any 2020 predictions here? Any? Because I like a show with like calls and stuff. I mean, calls mean quite a bit to me. Oh, did he? Did Nostradamus predict that the Federal Reserve would crash? Because if he did, I want to know that. I want to know how he knew what the Federal Reserve was when most people do not. No, he didn't. He couldn't have, man. I mean, he might have said the world would end in 2020, but I think he did that in like 1996. They said that. Like what was it? The god of Mars was coming, or some shit like that. It was some Nostradamus stuff. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Precisely. It does because it has to. And it was set up to be that way. Now, in 2013, their 100-year charter was over. Okay? Now, of course, we had Obama in office, and everybody knew it was just going to continue on and probably not even be mentioned. I don't even know that it was. But yeah, they kept going because they're stealing your money. They've taken everything, man. They've taken your property rights. Hell, they've taken almost every right. Why do you think we have the most prisoners? Why do you think we have the most laws? Why do you think they still tell us we're free? It's all a freaking lie. But it's built upon the Federal Reserve, which is, as Wombat Dundee had stated, a Ponzi scheme. That's what it amounts to. It's them stealing our work, our money, everything that we had once, gone. It's all part of it. And it will fall because it was originally meant to fall at some time. Now, maybe out of 100 years, maybe they thought that they would already have it before that. Maybe they thought, you know what, man, we're making a wealth. Let's keep it going. All right, man. Somebody's calling. Hello? Hey, Double Lance, how you doing? Hey, is it okay to put you on live? All right, you're on. It's Double Lance.
Got a few questions I was going to hit you up with. Number one, I've been seeing on the news, you know, I have to go online because, you know, I'm all the way out here in West Texas to find out anything back east. I'm seeing where they're catching a lot of pedos there in the Indiana area. And I saw one of the chats last night, and this guy was a supposed Leo, and he's saying that they have discovered a pedo ring there in Indiana, and they're busting their chops. And it goes all the way from, you know, child trafficking to, you know, of course, you know, kidnapping and murder. So I look for big things to be happening in 2020 in the Indiana area. Now, I don't know if you can go online and see some of the recent busts and arrests that they've made. I reckon they trailed one all the way, he had links all the way to Kokomo, believe it or not.
Yeah, I believe it.
This was a young guy, too, very young guy. And number two, any news on the Adrian Quintel case?
You know what? Somebody got a hold of me earlier concerning a comment that I had made about it probably being set up. And they're like, well, she was found in the river there. They had to drain it. And, you know, the autopsy reports are back. And it don't look like foul play. So where's your setup? I says, all right. I said, well, here it is, man. This is me talking. Most people watching this probably knows what happened to Adrian Quintel. If not, please watch my video on it because I talked to the sheriff of Benzie County. Now, he told me, in regard to my questions, there was no signs that anybody was outside of her house that she was shooting at. There was no signs of any shots having been fired from outside of her house. There was nothing that showed like tire tracks, foot tracks, anything like that, or signs that anybody was wounded. Her boots and her cell phone were on the roof, and her gun, empty of shells, was found on the ground outside of a window. Now, let's say that you're Adrian Quintel and you're in a cabin and you got a 9mm pistol and you think people are out there shooting at you. What do? You go into a room, you shut the light off, and you wait for them to enter because you just called your friend to call law enforcement and you know they're en route. But you don't go outside. Do you see where I'm at? Why would you go outside without ammunition and take off running to run into a river? That sounds insane.
Well, I seem to recall you saying that they needed to check that creek and that, you know, that water because if I'm not mistaken, you said that's where she'd be found.
No, I never said that she would. I said if you go west of her house, you hit that little Platte River. I said, now, if you go east of her house, you hit that swampy area that you can't go through. So it was just a little swath of land that she could have went to. Now, she didn't have any boots on, meaning that she was barefoot, I presume. Now, if you're barefoot and you bring in canine units to search for her, they would have found her in a hot minute. They would have followed her straight to that river. Now, why wasn't that done? They used air, drone, search party. The family looked. He told me we searched that area extensively. Now, how could that be if she just took off running and went into the river and drowned in 3 feet of water?
Brother, I think the boyfriend's involved somehow.
Well, now that was my original thought on it, man, was just that. It was a setup. But then I also added that if it was a setup with her boyfriend, what if her boyfriend shows up? Because it was the perfect time at 2:30 in the morning. Because look, man, he had a 4.5-hour drive, man, from Springfield, which is a suburb of Detroit. And then you had to go drive up there to Honor, Michigan, to the cabin, pick her up, and then bring her back and not be missed. Okay. So now if he wasn't missed and he already had a preset alibi and he picked her up for whatever reason money could have been involved, wouldn't that have been a perfect time just to kill her and hide the body?
Well,
because his alibi set, people. And
right.
She helped.
Oh, sorry, brother. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I saw where somebody that was local that knew them. They were talking, and I don't know if it was one of the chats, and they were saying that she, where she used to be into the dope scene, said that she had owned somebody and was up there, doing a dual purpose thing, fixing up the cabin plus laying low, and they were thinking that the dope man, somehow got to her, that she owed. Now, I don't know, that's just what the speculation was. Anything's possible at this point.
Well, okay, but now here's kind of my take on that. Let's say this dope man and a friend shows up. They drive up, they get out. Now, originally, she told her friend on the phone, I heard suspicious noises outside. Now, apparently, she went and checked and started, I guess, firing through the window at him. Right? Yeah. Now, if this was the case, would there not be tire tracks, foot marks, and evidence of people being out there shooting back at her? Yeah. And secondly, if there's drug people out there wanting to hurt her, why in the fuck would she leave the house unarmed?
Yeah, that too.
I mean, you see where I'm at? There's a whole lot of illogic in that case that didn't add up, and that's what smelled fishy to me, and it still does.
A couple of questions I would ask. I don't know if they put the answers out there or not. Does she have any more ammo in that house? And was they able to find her tracks to where she was found?
Well, now, okay, the sheriff told me that they had K9 units, man, when they got there looking for her, like almost immediately. Now, a K9 picks up your human scent. And that's like, basically the dander, or however you'd want to phrase that, comes off of like, your leg, like where your foot is and so forth like that. But now she's walking barefooted. She is leaving a very hot track, one that they could probably pick up for a couple days without rain. No problem at all. So why didn't the dogs follow her straight to that river?
Yeah.
And that was done like that following morning, but not long after they got there, realized she wasn't in the house. They put a search team out because there was no evidence, as her friend had said, that anybody was out there shooting.
Well, Mike, I hate to get off subject, but if you watch any of those or listen to any of those 411 deals with David Pilates, he talks a lot about how those dogs will just quit on the trail a lot here lately. On missing people. So I don't know. There may be something, to that deal.
Well, now I'm going back. I spent a large portion of my life being a coon hunter, man. I had a dog that could pick a coon up, man. If it was sitting in a tree, he would air wind it, man, and there it would be. Oh, he'd open right up. Dogs are very good, especially if they got like bloodhounds or they got any dogs that can track. They should have been on top of that. That's my point of view, though. I don't know their dogs, nor do I know their dogs' training, but.
You mentioned coon hunting. When we was kids, I had a friend. Well, we had a friend. He was trying out a dog. He swore up and down this dog, was one of the best. He put a lot of money into this dog and everything. And it was, a top, coon hunting dog. And we went on foot. We parked the vehicle and let the dog. And Mike, it was cold too, man. When you breathe, your throat would burn. Where it was that cold.
Yeah, been there.
This dog was running us up mountains and everything like that, and he's like, "It's free." We finally got that dog run down, Mike. It was running trash. It was running deer and
Yep. Been there.
Hey, it was everything we could do to keep him from shooting that dog at night. I was mad at a horse as well.
You know what? I have seen my dad shoot dogs for less.
Yeah. Well, he had one night. The rest of the dogs was out treeing and doing everything they're supposed to do. And that one dog he had was back at the Jeep, barking at the Jeep.
What? Oh, okay. That's a bad dog, man. I don't even know why that dog was there, you know.
Oh, they used to, when I was a kid, what they do, Mike, is they'd get in the front and they'd put the dogs, they would shove them back toward me in the back seat. So my dad wised me up to that. I'd give me an old cheap cigar. And when they'd do that to me, I'd knock that cigar up and blow it in their face, and they'd get back up in the front on them. That'd break them dogs out of my way. Because, you know, hell, you're the back of a Jeep in that little bitty street, you've got 4 dogs piled on you back there. You know, it ain't too damn comfortable.
Well, you've heard of a 3-dog night.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of sounds like it if the air was that harsh.
Well, it reminds you of the old Jerry Clower, deals where he's talking about knock 'em out, John.
Yeah.
Send that monkey up that tree with that pistol. That's a pretty good tale he told. You ever heard it?
No, never did, man. I've listened to Jerry Clowers before.
Well, they trained a monkey, and they took that monkey out, and they trained that monkey whenever the dogs would tree, and they couldn't shoot the coon out. They'd send that monkey up the tree with a 38, and that monkey would shoot the coon out the tree. Well, the dogs finally treed, and they sent the monkey up there, and the monkey's name was John. Well, they sent that monkey up that tree, and he was up there and everything, and, looking around, they wasn't nothing. They was hollering, knock him out, John. That was what they would yell, when he would get up there and find the coon.
Right.
Well, there wasn't nothing up there. That monkey come back down the tree, and he looked at that coon, and that dog, and he just pulled his 38 and shot that dog graveyard dead. Bam! And that old man said, Jesus Christ, he said, your monkey just shot my dog dead. He said, what the hell? That guy said, but he said, there ain't one way. He said, there ain't one, but one thing that monkey hates worse than a coon. He said, that's a lion coon dog.
That's a lion coon dog. You know what? Kind of seen that coming a little bit.
That's a pretty good tale. You can pull it up online. He tells some heck of a tale.
You heard the one about the where the guy had loaned the other guy's dog, and the guy says, man, he'll go into the woods, he'll come back, and he'll bark as to how many coons are in that woods. He's like, you're kidding. He's like, nah. Goes, well, let me see. So they go out there, man. Dog runs into the woods, comes back, barks 3 times. They follow the dog in, man. He takes him to each tree. Bam, 3 coon. Go to the next one. He does it twice. Go in, 2 coon. Knock him out. He's like, man, that's amazing as hell. He says, man, do you mind if I borrow this dog? Guy's like, no, go ahead, man. You can take him for a while, man. All right. So a guy takes him back to his house, man. He takes his friends out. He's like, man, you're never going to believe this dog, man. This is craziest shit you ever seen in your life, man. He says, he'll go into the woods, man. He'll come back and he'll bark as to how many coon are in that woods. And you just follow him. He'll take you right to a tree. Crazy as all hell. He says, and watch, man. So he sends the dog in, man. Dog comes back, man, barks twice. He says, they follow the dog in, man. They knock 2 coon out. And dog, they go to a second woods, man. He turns the dog loose, man. Dog comes back with a stick in its mouth, man. And he starts humping the dog's or the guy's leg. The guy can't get him to stop, man. And hang on, man. I got to remember the punchline before I even finish this. Oh, yeah, right. So the dog keeps doing this, man, with this stick, man, keeps humping this guy's leg. So he thinks the dog's just went mad, and shit like that. So he shoots the dog dead, right? He goes back and he tells the owner what the dog did, and he's like, dude, it wouldn't stop, man. And he goes, look, man, you dumbass. He was telling you that there was more coon in that fucking woods than you could shake a stick at. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
That's pretty damn good.
No, thank you. It took me a while, but there it is. That's all I got.
Shake a stick at it.
There's more fucking coon in that woods than you could shake a stick at, pal.
I like it. I tell my brother that.
All right. Okay, go ahead. I think it may have came from Clower originally.
Well, getting back to that Quintel case, did they ever say that the boyfriend had any life insurance on her or anyone else?
I never, you know what? I asked the sheriff about that. He said he didn't know, But I told him, I said, that would have been one of the first places I was looking at. He told me investigators probably already knew that. Now, I want to point out that, like, off the original, when that story first came out, he was looked at as a person of interest. Now, again, I agree that 2.5 hours or 4.5 hours there, 4.5 hours return trip, then that would give him time through the night to get up there and get back and not be missed, which does put him as a person of interest just because of the timing. Also because of the messed up addresses that her friend gave. Everything was just set up so weird. Like, why would her boots and cell phone be on the roof, but her gun be empty outside if she thought people was outside shooting at her? It just didn't make any sense. And then to run into 3 feet of water and drown? Like, what kind of fucking shit is that? Now, I can say this. She could have been taken and drowned and then replaced back. And I threw that out as an alternative, but I can't say that that happened. But it's just the fishiness of the story off the go that makes me feel something is more amiss than what they're saying. Because the rest of it, if that does not fit, then the rest of it is clearly insane. This woman either accidentally took LSD and freaked out. Something. I don't know. I would have no idea where her mind would be. But it wasn't in reality. Couldn't have been.
Well, it's like I said, she had some mental issues. If she was bipolar, man, who knows?
Yeah, even bipolar, man. Somebody bipolar ain't going to do that. There's a lot of bipolar people. I don't see them doing anything nutty like that shit.
Well, you know, I was in the service with a guy that always, you know, that he had tricked them and snuck by them, and it was manic depressive. And, man, this guy was unpredictable as hell. You didn't know what he was going to do from one minute to the next when he was having an episode.
Right.
But when they had him on his medicine, he was stable. He was one of the best people you'd ever meet.
Yeah.
But when he get off that medicine, man, you just didn't know what the hell he would do.
You didn't want to be around, man. They went south, dude. I know.
You know, you fighting the chips off spoons and stuff. You just didn't know what was going to go through the guy's mind. I hate to switch subjects, get back to the Delphi case, but I was going to ask you, I don't know, I'm not too familiar with that area. I've only seen it from maps, stuff like that, but I was going to ask you about that layout of that place.
Yeah.
Where they found the girls.
Okay.
And the layout of it.
Are you watching on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Go ahead, sorry.
Let me do something here real quick. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the map up. All right?
All right.
And I'll kind of lay it out for you exactly as it is, in a sense, the best way I can. Mind you, it is Google Maps.
I'm going to pull this up on the TV.
So,
Out here going to YouTube. When you get ready, let me know and I'll ask you a question.
okay, hold on. It's up, but I got to get it to satellite. There we go. All right, now I'm going to share this on the screen. So watch along with me if you can't. Hold on. Bam.
Yeah,
Bam.
I'm walking up on my TV right now. I'm pulling up your live stream.
Okay. Now this here is Monon High Bridge Trail. As you can see, it reads it right here. Now, right here, see, this is Highway 25. This is the Hoosier Heartland. Now, damn it, man, I hate you. Man, I hate fucking Google Chrome. So he was headed this way. He comes up this way. And this is the only route he could have took. Is up, this is Old 25. But it's now County Road 300. And it swerves back around to Anderson's here. But then swings back down here. This here, right here. This is the abandoned building. People keep saying that his car was abandoned. If his car was abandoned, they would know exactly who fucking did it. Think about that. The building was abandoned. Okay. Now he backed in because he didn't want anyone to see his license plate that was going down County Road 300. It would say where he was from, the state. Now he got out here. Can you see this okay?
Yeah, I've got it pulled up on my TV right now.
Okay. So he comes walking up this way, right up this trail. And then that comes up here. And then this is Freedom Bridge. Actually, you would take that trail right here and then hit the trail right there. Now, oh, damn it. Now, son of a bitch. Hold on a second. Let me blow this up a little bit. Bam. There we go. Now, you can kind of see from the clearing of the trees, maybe not quite as well, like on your computer screen, but this goes right down here. Now, this is the whole of the trail, and I want to say this. From here, this wood line, this down here really isn't even a part of the trail. It just goes back out to Highway 25 following Deer Creek, but that trail goes straight down through here.
Yeah, I see where it goes.
Right up to here.
The trees.
Comes right on back down. Now, this right here is the trail because that trail ends right here. Now, about right up in here, then you got the 505 that goes down to the creek's water down here. Now, that's the whole of the trail. Now, it ain't very big. In fact, if I back that out to where it says
now
1 mile, I don't even think that it's a mile from there down to the bridge.
Well, where is the graveyard?
The graveyard is right. Hang on. I got to find where in the hell I'm at. There it is. Now, right here is the graveyard. See it?
Give me a second. I'm about a half a minute, or not even half. I'm about 10 seconds behind you.
Okay.
On my TV, I'm with you on the phone, but on my TV, it's a little slower.
Okay. Do you see the graveyard?
Yeah. Is there an access point?
No.
From that graveyard into where they found the girls?
Well, you say an access point. Okay. Go ahead.
I should have went better trail.
Yes, but no. I mean, but here's why. This is where Ronald Logan. Well, fuck me. Okay, I probably shouldn't have said that. This is where that one guy lives that owns the property. Okay. Now, all of this out here, including down into here, is his horse field. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, his horses have trails that go down through here and then go back up. And that's why I originally thought he came up and then followed across right here where the graveyard is. Because he was en route back here to the 501 to take that back out to where he had parked his car. Okay. So that's why he went back from here. Right here's where the girls' bodies were found. Like you come down here across, about right here is where the girls' bodies were found in this clump of trees right here, where my arrow is at. Now, he could have taken the southern route, bypassing the big ravine here, took the southern route, and then came up and made it in the same way in approximately the same time. Now, here's the bridge, and right here's where they were abducted at, right here on the south side, like approximately right where my arrow is. Now, he took them down, then you got to go down a hill, then you got to go down a larger hill to get down here to the car path. But right here's where he crossed them at the lowest point. He had already scouted that and got him back to here. And that was out of sight from anybody on the trail or any eyesight from above up here. And they was down past a ravine. It was a very remote area. That's why he got him to be there. Now, there was a lot of speculation that, at first that a person had used the cemetery. Here's the thing. If somebody had parked at that cemetery, the FBI, CSI would have known about that immediately. They would have knew the direction of travel that the person left in, going up to their car, as well as coming down from where they left, because he would have had to get to the south side of the bridge. But that's where he was at. But now law enforcement at the briefing said that his vehicle was parked right here. Now, I believe that because had he had parked here at the main, anybody coming in would have seen his license plate and said, oh, Missouri. Oh, well, somebody from Missouri's here. You see where I'm at? But if he backed in here, then people here couldn't see his license plate. That's what he wanted. He knew that the locals didn't know him by face or name.
But do you think that he had parked in multiple places in the days before so he could get out and get in there and study the layout of that place?
No, I think that he already knew it because he had been there many times en route to his brother's house. I think that he had stopped and hiked that trail probably every bit of 20 to 30 times in his life.
Okay, I mean, the reason I asked that is, maybe somebody could have seen him also on one of the previous days,
Now, you see, to answer your question, if you put 1, 2, 3, one person on the trail, 4, 5, and had 5 people searching, you could walk from here down to here and look this land over right there in probably every bit of 30 minutes. 30 minutes time. And you would have searched the entire trail. Any place that they could have been on that trail would have been searched. That's what I'm saying. It's not big. And people look at this, man, you know what? It's this bloody mouse. People look at this and they think that all of this is the trail. No, man, that trail comes in right here and it just goes to here. That's it. This right here is that trail. One trail. Right here at the secondary entrance, it splits into 2. And the 505 ends right here, but they're right beside each other. So if he was walking this trail down, he could have scouted without leaves on the trees, everything to his right, knew that nobody was over here, got to the other side here, walked down, made sure nobody was camping, fishing, or anything here, checked to make sure that you could cross right here. This is shallow, excellent, outstanding. And he probably stood down here on the south side with field glasses, waiting for someone to arrive. Probably multiple people went to that bridge. Maybe a few people even got on it. He didn't care about him. It wasn't his thought of the victim. He wanted the right victim. You see where I'm at? It was ironic. It was ironic that 2 girls showed up. It really was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, damn, man. He put some thought into this, I'll tell you that. Man, God.
Do what?
Yeah, I'm just thinking of just the unfortunate, circumstances that poor kids just had to be in the wrong place at the wrong damn time.
Yeah, and again, man, I kind of pointed that because, hang on a second. Let me pull my beautiful face up. There we go. Because it really was, man, and that's what brought me into the case, was because it was Delphi. Little town, man, 3,500 people, and it's a county seat. Crimes like that don't happen in Delphi, and the fact that 2 young girls died, man, were murdered, abducted, holy shit. I mean, my first thoughts are local sex offender, drugs, some shit like that. And it wasn't even close, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, because that's where I was for the first year, man. I'm going through local sex offenders, man, surrounding counties. I'm trying to find somebody that looks like Bridge Guy. Didn't find anybody, but nobody did. Now, I'm sure other people called a fuck bunch of people in. I think everybody in Carroll County called in 5 people. I mean, 46,000? 3,500 is the population of Delphi. The entire population of Carroll County is 20,000. That's insane, man. Hell, I was called in.
I was going to bring this up. Someone else has posted a video on the deal that me and you talked about and brought up about the spot on the right leg of Bridge Guy.
Yeah.
Someone did a video on it. I think it was Tales from the Blue-Eyed Indian. I think that's the name of the guy.
Okay.
I don't know if you know him or not. But,
no, I don't.
But I reckon, he don't have a channel or anything. He just posted this, I guess, long. And he got a real good video on it. And if you get a chance, check it out, Mike. I mean, he goes both ways with it. Breaking it down that it could be something, and it could be something else, chattel or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, that is kind of what I was saying, was almost the identical. That, look, you got a guy that's out there, man, and I believe he's out there to commit murder. It's on the reverse date of Evansdale. That's why he was there for 3 hours. He was waiting. Now, if he had something, and I mean, I would ask. Because TV's got 3 pistols. Why would he need a rifle? And aside to that, why would he need a big-ass club down the front of his pants when he's crossing the bridge? You see where I'm at? It just seemed kind of meaningless. Nobody would do that.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I didn't know what it was and wasn't even going to chance guessing what it was. It just puzzled me that it was there. And, and I saw it, and I went, I replicated this guy's work, and just, wanted to throw it out there for other people to see, and get their take on it.
Well, I'm glad that you did. I really am, because when I put that up there, and I forget who said that, and it may have been you. Somebody had told me after I put the thumbnail up on Facebook that somebody had commented that it looked photoshopped. And I'm like, I assure you I didn't Photoshop that. But the person that had said that was my cousin. My cousin is the one that had said that.
The thing is you can take and pull the original video that, law enforcement put out there, and you can follow what the original Katt done, the original guy done, his parameters and everything, how he set the settings on the computer, and even put it on grayscale and look for a shadow. And I done all of that, and was able to replicate and freeze frame it to exactly what he was pointing out. And there's another guy done the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've done it too.
Yeah, I did.
And the thing that puzzled me on it is when you go to grayscale on it, there's no shadow.
No, there is shadow.
I mean, your thoughts, what do you think?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There is still shadow.
Oh, you can see it? Well, I mean, I don't know.
Well, no. Oh, okay, look. When you go to grayscale, all right? Well, you're making that into different shades, but those shades are already there. Otherwise, it would be a complete jumble of different variations. You still have the light, you still have the dark.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if you put it red, grayscale, any way that you look at it, it's going to remain the same because that's the way that the picture looks.
Do you think it's just a coincidence of how his genes roll?
It's what it is it's the pixelation, and it involves the cut from like right there on his leg where the sun shines, and then where it goes to shadow, just like his hat. And one, it looks like brown hair, and the other, it looks like a hat. That brown thing that's on his side, and one looks like a fanny pack, and the next, it looks like the bottom of a shirt. It just gives shape to things that don't have shape. And it's the pixelation. And because in other images that I can pull up of his leg, it's not apparent. Now, if it was that big and thick as it looks like in the one, it would be very clear in all of them.
Well, there's another question I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure you've looked at this video, front to back, top to bottom, corner to corner. Also on the right leg, the lower right knee area, it looked to me like there's like a tear in the jeans. Like, I don't know if it's just from the wire in the jeans or he fell or something, but, I don't know if that means anything. But it looked to me like the knee was tore out of the right knee.
No, you know what? I know exactly what you're talking about. I do. Because when I went through it frame by frame, that's one that stood out. And that's the one that I was talking about in the video, the frame by frame. Because in that one, and it's where the crease of his knee kind of crumples like that, right there where it's at its darkest, it looks like a big black spot, like right there on his right knee. All of it is pixelation with shadow. And that is all that I could really think that it is. Now, is there a chance I could be wrong? Yeah, but it's a very minute chance, like 0.0092 or something like that % chance that anything could be wrong with what I'm saying. I believe that it's pixelation. I believe that it's the way, because it's not a sharp image. Anything that you blow up on that, you're blowing those pixels up even more. I've seen people where they blew his head up this big and they're talking about, look, you can see it. And I'm like, no, you can't. You can't see that at a fucking distance. You can't blow up those pixels that much more and give it anything further.
It just makes me wonder if he was laying in wait somewhere off the side of that trail for someone to walk by, or he was continuously walking that trail for somebody to come by.
You know, I think he was sitting on the south side of the bridge.
Okay, so you think he was laying wait?
Well, I think that's why the lady had seen him, because that's where he was headed to. You had to cross right there to go down that hill. Well, that's the same area where that lady was walking her dogs. That's where they ran into each other. That's why I said, man, it had to have been by happenstance that she had walked up to him, because he wasn't trying to be seen. He didn't want anybody to see his face. You see where I'm at? Well, she talked to him for a minute. Woo-whoop-de-woo. It's a couple hours later. You know, well, she wouldn't suspect me. There's a lot of people out here hiking. Hey, I'm going to be out here anyway. And I think that's how it rolled. I think once he got to that south side, he scouted the lower area. He went back up and he sat in that wood line with field glasses. He could see anybody that came up to that bridge to the other side. He could see if that was his idea of a victim or not. Now, when the two girls crossed the bridge in game, that's where he came out. I believe he said something to him as he walked by him, like, you know, hey, get over here on that platform, blah, blah, blah. Walked up just far enough, man, where he could look down, check, make sure nobody made it up to the shoreline on the 505 trail before he headed him down. Because if there was anybody down there on the 505, when he headed them down that bridge, they could have seen everything, you know, where he was taking them anyway. I mean, you know, they would have been like an eyewitness to them being abducted. That's why he went forward. When he turned around, that's when she hit video record. Look, man, this shit's a fucking emergency. You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Sue Wright, and she is back. Man, she was here off to go over an hour ago. Welcome back, Sue.
And that brings up something else, Mike. In a video, me and my brother was looking at it, and, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm seeing stuff that ain't there, but it looked like the guy was smoking. Like he had a cigarette, was blowing smoke out his mouth.
Yeah, you see.
You know, and I know this is going out on limb, but if he was smoking and his camp was laying in wait at the south end of that bridge, chances are he's left some cigarette butts out there. And if so, the police may have that in evidence and have his DNA.
I would give you that. I mean, but I've never seen him with a cigarette. I've never seen any telltale signs that he did smoke. I've never seen him with a pack of cigarettes, a lit cigarette, or anything concerning. Now, I'm not saying he didn't smoke. He could have. But, you know, it hasn't been shown, like, by evidence. But here's the thing. Okay, they got a cigarette and they got DNA on it. Fair enough. But again, man, I go back crime scene. I think that there is DNA there. And I think that that's where the larger amount of it really came from, was the crime scene area.
Well, the reason I was saying that about the cigarette is you blow up you know, I know you lose pixelation, you blow up the face, but when you enhance it and reverse it, enhance or reverse it, it looks like he's blowing smoke out of his mouth. And that's the reason that, you know, it wasn't cold enough to see your breath. So it made me think that he was smoking.
Okay, hold on. If he was smoking, all right, and you're seeing smoke come out of his mouth, you realize that his hands are in his pockets that whole time, and there is no cigarette in his mouth, right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing.
Well, yeah, but what I'm getting at is if I got my hands in my pockets and I don't have a cigarette in my mouth, it's going to be kind of hard for me to blow smoke on my mouth.
Well, we're only seeing a 3-second video too, brother.
Well, right, but I mean, well, where would you propose that the smoke out of his mouth came from if he didn't have a cigarette in his hands or in his pockets?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was thinking that the cigarette was still in his mouth, you know. I mean, just blowing smoke with a cigarette in his mouth, I could do it.
Well, I could too, but I think that you would see the cigarette in his mouth.
I don't know. I mean, I can't tell nothing about his face, you know, that pixelation.
Well, I'll give you that, man. It's hard to discern anything. But that was like why I was 98% positive rather than 100. But when I found the route and put the rest together, I said, bam, that's it, man. He's the dude. He is. He's Delphi's suspect. Not only that, Evansdale, same way. Identical.
Well, the one we was talking about, you know, and I could be wrong. It could be the clothing that he's wearing. But the lower chin area and the neck area, you know, I know some of it's clothing, but it also looks when you move it from frame to frame,
Yeah.
3 seconds, and then you're enhancing it. It looks like the chin, there's like a cloud. It could be the pixelation, but that's where we got the smoke in the cigarette, because it looked like there's a cloud of smoke or a haze across it.
Okay,
I could be wrong. It could be the pixelation. But like I said, I was going out on a limb on this. Check it out. See what your thoughts on it is if you get a chance.
Well, okay, but again, it kind of goes back like what I was talking about with another YouTuber, where he is using the shadow. Well, okay, it's fair enough to use science, man, when you don't have anything else that you can go on. But it was a simple fact that Cheyenne was on the south side of the bridge at that time.
Yeah.
Now, we knew that. We knew that Flannel Shirt Guy had stated that. Now, I heard many theories about, no, he said that there was a gang down there under the bridge. And I'm like, fucking idiots. If I could reach through YouTube, I'd have charges already. So anyway, we knew that she was down there. Her caption was, I was there at 3 and I didn't see him. Ta-da. The time stamp on the picture was 2:49. There you go. Now, he's using sunlight to get a shadow to try to determine the time in the minute. And I'm like, okay, that's like a little much. Well, here's my case on that. You say that there's smoke coming out of his mouth. Well, it wasn't cold enough to see your breath. And furthermore than that, man, he had 2 hands in his pockets. So, I mean, he wasn't holding the cigarette. If it was a cigarette in his mouth, I think that it would be determinable that you would see a cigarette in his mouth. But here's the thing. Let's just say he was smoking. I mean, he is a smoker, and he was down there and he left cigarette butts behind. And okay, they could have got DNA from that. But but the point is that one, they would have to determine that that was his and not somebody else's cigarettes.
Yeah.
Firstly. Now, 2, because I did hear off the go that they had found a cigarette and got DNA from it, but I kind of blew that over as mainly rumor because that's what people with rumors say. Well, I heard. Well, I could hear a whole lot of shit, and it doesn't mean much because if I'm not looking at the documents as stating that to be evident and proof,
I've seen that.
You see where I'm at? But my whole thought was older man, 2 young girls abducted and murdered. Okay, look, man, unless somebody hired a hit, and let's be honest, that ain't going to happen. I mean, not in Delphi, Indiana. And if it was a hit, it would have been uncovered like systematically by the FBI. So I do believe that there was the evidence at the crime scene. Now, that being the case, and I think it goes beyond DNA, as I mentioned earlier with the fingerprints, because I think it was both. I think they had DNA and fingerprints at the crime scene. And that's why they said specifically this is like suspect DNA.
Yeah, they got enough on him. It's just a matter of getting everything straight, Missouri, so they can get him up to Indiana and do what needs to be done in Indiana.
Yeah, and that could be a long time coming. I hate to take that train. I mean, I think that they'll file charges by at least February 13th of 2021, probably before that, but maybe at that date. But I think that's going alongside other cases. There's going to be multiple, I think, out in California because he was out there for so long. I don't think it just picked up one day in 97. I think it predates that. Hell, it could go clear back to, 95, 96 with Susan Collins.
It makes me wonder if the sister had been earlier, if maybe she could have stopped it, or if maybe she would have been a victim too,
Who?
Like, it's a heck of a way of looking at things, but it just...
Are you talking about Libby's sister?
The one that come out to pick them up.
That was her father.
All right, well, I thought the sister had come out and walked too.
No, she just dropped him off there.
Okay, I was thinking somebody else come out there and walked down the trail with the father after he called.
No, now when her father got there, he was kind of alarmed because they weren't answering the cell phone, and he was supposed to call them so that they could be picked up at the meetup point where they were dropped off. Now that was at about 3:00. So at 3:15, he's walking the 505, and that's where he ran into Flannel Shirt Guy. you know, and he asked Flannel Shirt Guy if he's seen two young girls down at the bridge. He said, no, I seen a couple on the other side, but they weren't that age. They were a lot older. Well, I got my daughters out here with their friend. They're not answering their phone. They're around. You know, it wasn't an emergency at that time. You see where I'm at? Do what?
Did you say he said he saw a couple on the other side of the bridge?
Yeah, it was Cheyenne and her friend. They was on the far side of the bridge. That's where she took that picture at 2:49.
Okay. All right. Somehow when you start thinking about the other things, I start running things together for some reason.
Yeah, that's good. Keeps the intuition happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I'm wanting charged. You know, I mean, I'm like everybody else. I want to see this come to fruition because this guy needs to answer for his crimes.
I agree, and I think in Delphi, and again, it's something that I want to just go ahead and say it, but I think because it involves two minors, I think that they're going to release as little as possible. As little as possible. I think that if they can go down there and say, look, man, we'll give you life behind bars, but you got to plead guilty to everything. They may do it like that. He may show up. It may not even be like I plead innocent and it goes through court where everything comes out. He shows up. Yes, on this date, I did this, I did that, I did the other. Okay, you're guilty, life without parole, have a nice day. That way it's all done and over with and nothing comes out. Because a lot of that crime is going to be, I don't know how to put it. It's not like I want to say an embarrassment to the community, but the thing is the community definitely don't want those articles released because, man, that's going to be, it's going to be on Delphi. I mean, Delphi is the one that's going to have to look at that and go, my God, man, that monster showed up here and did that. And Delphi would have to know that forever. And I think that might be part of what they will try to not kind of undo by getting him just to confess fully. And if he confesses fully and they go that route, then it won't be him going through court where everything comes out. If you see what I mean, you know, they want to keep that hidden back if that's how it could be done.
Well, you know, I was thinking all the innuendo, the speculation, and the rumors, everything that's going on inside that little town. You know, I bet it's a nightmare. You know, there's so much finger pointing going amongst one another there.
I don't live there.
You know, I bet it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't live in Delphi. My dad lives up the road from the area, but I'm never over there. So I'm never really around locals. In fact, I mean, I go over to Dollar General about every other day. It's in Carroll County. But in Delphi, you would probably hear a lot more of it than what you would in Burlington. Because in Delphi, that's the spot, man. That's where it happened at. You know, that's where it's really localized to.
And like I said, I mean, I bet that there's so much finger points going on inside that little town that it's just a nightmare. I know I wouldn't be in the middle of it. You know, and that's all the more reason that they need to get this guy, you know, out of Missouri and up there in charge to put an end to all that stuff. You know, all the speculation. Yeah,
I agree. I really do. Hell, man, I mean, I want him up here, but again, I mean, that now we're looking at like at the time scale. Are they going in the date of the murders? Because I mean, would it go to California? Then would it go to Michigan? And then would it go stay in Michigan? Then would it go to Evansdale? And then would it go to Delphi? I mean, if it followed them in a train of order, because one doesn't separate one from the other, they're all the same. They're all rape and murder. Apparently, we don't know, and I don't want to say that on all of them, but we do know that all of them, the end result was murder. So if that is the case, and they have him tied to these others by DNA or fingerprints, what have you, in the places where he was stationed or living, then it could be very lengthy. And if each one of them takes a year plus, hell, man, he might not be in Carroll County for like 5 to 6 years to ever confront Carroll County Court. But in that time, we would know of everything that was done.
Well, there's no statute of limitations on murder, so they ain't up against it on that.
No, and I'm not suggesting that, but what I'm saying is Delphi was the next to the last one done, to my knowledge. I mean, but the last one I would be looking at Jamie Schmidt at the Catholic supply store. That was outright murder. But if you go back before that, then it's Delphi. You go back before that, then it would be Evansdale. To my knowledge, there could have been others.
So
but
so basically they're going to be sitting on some hands waiting till that time comes.
Yeah, but when that time comes, all of them can go. All of them can be there. All of them can question. He'll probably confess to all if he's given life without parole, because he's already going to be doing that and he don't give a fuck. You see where I'm at?
At the end of the day, man, when everything is said and done and all the smoke is cleared and he's answered for all these, in court, who would get him?
Missouri.
You think, Missouri would be the first, the one where he would start his sentence and that? Yep.
Because they're the ones that nailed him. They're the ones that sentenced him. And he would have to commit that one first. That's life without parole. So it don't matter unless another state, be it Michigan or Indiana, gave him death. That's all he'd have to concern himself with. If I don't get death and they don't find me guilty on death, then I'll do my time in Missouri.
Hell, we don't know, Mike. Hell, this guy may turn around and tell him he wants to be put to death.
You know what? Okay. Let's talk about that for a minute. Here it is. He went and committed the Catholic supply store sexual assault and homicide. Now, he knew bloody well, man, when he went and did that his ass was going to be caught. Straight up knew. Now, he'd been drinking, but he knew. Now, he knew that in due time, matter of days, here would come the police. I think that he was armed. He had a pistol with him. They kicked his door in. They raided his place. But you notice he got that black eye? That motherfucker was fighting. Why? Because he thought that he was going to take the easy way out. Cop suicide. You see where I'm at? So I don't think that he had the will to live at the end. And actually him asking for death, you know what? You might make a great point, and I'd love to see it happen because I'd be the one pulling the switch. I'd be the one injecting wouldn't inject no needle, but I would throw him off the bridge with the noose attached. Let him hang on Monon for a minute.
I want to see his ass ride the light. Put him in that chair, wet that sponge, and be done.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Wait, man. You can't see that. Nobody can unless you're family.
Well,
but if you throw him off the bridge, then we all get to enjoy the action.
Well, used to, what happened was the press and the cops would give out what they called passes. You could go and be a witness. They got to have so many witnesses.
Yeah, but I think you got to be like family or a cop or something. I mean, you can't just go in as a general member of the public and say, "Hey, I want to watch, man."
Yeah, willy-nilly.
Yeah, because otherwise I'd be in there going, "Hey, man, I want to watch. I want to see it happen, man. Can I pull? Hey, can I test the trigger?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna get off here and I wish you a happy New Year.
Same to you, man. I'm glad you called.
And I'll be on the standby listening, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate you calling, Double Lance. You have a good week.
Hey, you too, brother.
Peace. That was Double Lance, everybody. He calls like every week. Enjoy it. Enjoy hearing from me, man. I like that Texas accent, man. It sounds really Texasy. Oh, thank you. I don't even know if I know you. Do I? Maybe I do. Well, you know what? If I do have a great year, thank you very much, Minty. Means the most. Okay, so wait a minute. Yeah, 42 people, man. 42. Okay. You know what, man? Let's get real about it, man. Let's get me another phone call. Otherwise, man, I'm just going to sit and ramble. Hang on. Oh. Well, you know, man. It was a half of one of my vape things. Vape coil. Of Greece. No way, man. Greece? Really? Man, hell yeah, man. Right on, Greece. Thumbs up, Greece, man. Wow. You know what, man? Greece, Ireland, UK, man, France and shit, man. You know, Italians. Yeah, man. Like I used to have Middle Easterns on here all the time when I had the cafe. Oh, I was doing food challenges then. I normally don't wear a cafe, but I do look good in one. I think it's my hair, though. I really do. I think my hair, man, just really brings that cafe alive. Makes me look all good and shit. All right, so what? Nobody wants to call? All right. Fuck it, man. I'll ramble. I don't give a shit. I don't care none. Yeah, look, man. I'm international. Hey, man. There's Emma, UK. Right on, right on, right on. See, man, we're multi-international people. And you know what? This is again why I say you guys got to go to Icons, because he's international, man. He's international, speaking some truth to the millions, to the masses. Go there, check him out. Spelt like such. Bam. Icons on YouTube. All right, so let me get back to where I was going. Or did I have anything further to say? I really don't know. I thought I did. Yeah, man, I wanted like more predictions, but there's only so far I can go. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Let me retrace the steps of my day and let me take you back to early morning. I put up a thumbnail on Facebook concerning tonight's live show. Predictions for 2020 Delphi murders. If a member of the family in Delphi had put a dislike emoji on it, had disliked it. And I thought, man, who did that, man? So I moused over it and I seen who it was from. And I'm like, oh. So I reached this person and I told them very politely, because that is the way that I am. I'm a polite dude. You can ask Wolf. I'm always a nice guy when I can be. And, you know, I told him, man, I'm like, hey, look, I don't bring up the girls. I don't mention their names. It's very rare that I do. I don't talk about the crime in it. What I talk about is the facts, the circumstances, the evidence, and how it relates to the person who I'm saying did it. Now, and I told her, man, I told the person, look, man, I realize you might be upset, but the simple fact is that I am holding true to what my form. I am using what is real. I'm not making shit up. So, you know, please take it from me. I ain't on there talking bad about you or anybody or anything about the crime. So I don't want the family to be upset, man, for me doing this. I realize I'm local. I realize that I've met them. I mean, I realize I know where my place is here. You know, if I was, let's see, Johnny Smithengard that lives in Kansas or something, you know, nobody would give a rat's ass. Nobody would give an F. Nobody. The family wouldn't be giving a shit about it. But they do if it's me, because I am local. But what's weird, me being all local and everything, I pretty much solved 6 murders. 6. If you think about it, 6. Hell, man, there might be a seventh one out there before this next year ends. So call that a little remarkable that this hometown guy here went and did all that. Wasn't anybody else. In fact, I took my deductions, not payroll, not my tax deductions, but my case deductions, and I had them notarized and, of course, recorded. So I do have that to my side now, but it's just so that I could reap my work over 4 years, because that is what my channel's done. Over 4 years has studied this case remarkably to a point of now proof. So I do want compensated in some way for that. And it ain't by reward money. In fact, it is my hope, my legitimate hope, man, that when this is solved and they do come out and say that, yeah, he did it, You know, yeah, he's the one. And he did a bunch of others and so forth. I hope that Evansdale and the families in Delphi and Evansdale and the county split that $500,000 because that would be more fair. That is where that half a mil should go. Now, maybe not so much even toward the county. I mean, the county, shit, man, they get paid anyway, the cops. I mean, you know what? They don't need no money, any further money for it. But the family, man, that was their loss. Now, you can't replace a daughter. You can't replace someone lost like that. It can't happen. Can money fix it? No. But you know what? It could give them an easier lifestyle, you know, in some kind of payment. But, you know, I'm not after reward money. And it's like I said on my old channel, man. Look, when a person comes out and they're given as a person of interest, everybody will know it. Everyone. Unless you're that first person at the news team that's seen that and called it in, that's probably how it would happen. You know, but it's not going to be you and I. I had to wait to hear the person's name. But once I heard their name and then I started investigating, that's when I started checking off the criteria. He fits this criteria. He was available through that time of day. He had just filed bankruptcy. He was having, you know, everything checked off. The route, I said, okay, I believe that he's the guy, but I don't know what he was doing in Delphi, Indiana. Yeah, within a week, I found the route. And I said, bam, it's en route to his family's house right there. He stopped there probably many, many times. That's how I knew the trail so well. It was all there in broad daylight. But then I get people like that one dude. Man, I don't believe it's TV, dude. I just don't believe that shit. Sorry. I just don't. Ha ha ha. Okay, fine. What's your proof? I don't think he was there. Was you with him? You know, was you with him that day? Like, what's your real reasoning? Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah. You know what? I like to look at those dogs. I really do. I think they look cool as all get out, man. I like Spuds. I was a big Spuds fan, man. First time I seen the Spuds McKinsey commercial, shit, man. I was telling my cousin, I'm like, dude, come here, man. You gotta watch this shit. And I think it took like about 3 days till it came back on again. Then it got huge, like real big. Love Spuds. You know what Spuds was a female? Yeah, yeah. Spuds was a female, man. I think it was an Evil Eye something. What's the real dog's name? It's dead now, though. Anyway, man, I'm really digressing off the point. And, oh, yeah, man. Oh, hey, man, was you calling, Mark? Yeah, that'd be super cool. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for calling in, pal. Operators are on standby. They're still standing by. Oh, probably need the number, huh? There you go. There you go. Now you can call me. You can call King Katt. Okay. Yeah, please do, Harley. That'd be really cool, man. Actually, he has a brother that, hang on, let me go scroll back up there real quick. He has a brother that lives in Fort Wayne. Now, hold on. Let me remove this real quick and go find it, but I'll keep talking in the meantime. Because I have the map. No, fuck, that's just to Delphi. All right, let me go back over here. It's right here. Got to find the one to Fort Wayne. There it is. And let me pull this up here for you. This is St. Louis to Fort Wayne. Let me blow it up just a touch so I can move it. Now, this is taken to Hoosier Heartland. Now, you could take I-70 up to Fort Wayne. What in the hell? Why is that saying? Oh, 6 hours. Oh, I see. 6 hours and 20 minutes to Fort Wayne. I was going to say, man, it's only 4 hours. All right. Anyways, but down in here is Delphi, right here on the Hoosier Heartland. That's Highway 25, the same highway that goes right by Monon High Bridge Trail, right here. Now, once I found this route to Fort Wayne, where his brother lives, that's when I blew that up. And I'm not on Google Maps, but if I was, I could blow that up and show you that it goes right by Monon High Bridge Trail. That's how I knew that he had went by there many times. And he had stopped there many times. And that's how he knew the trail as well as he did. Because it was a place that wasn't close to his home. He knew the locals didn't know him by face or name. They couldn't say who he was. He backed in. Nobody seen his license plate. He committed the crime. He left Dodge. Nobody knew. No database with DNA or fingerprints. His hands were clean of it until the Catholic supply store. But why did all that happen? Huh? Need I remind people? I'll tell you why. CC Moore, man. Because when it came out in July of 2018, the CC Moore, the same technology as got John D. Miller, man, in Fort Wayne for the rape and murder of April Tinsley in 1988, they was using the same technology. Now, it took her 2 months to arrest that guy. From the time she started May, June, he was arrested in July. Now, they announced that in July, August, September. What happened in September of 2018? Sexual assault on a 77-year-old lady by TV. What happened the following month in October? He was out drinking, got pulled over for driving erratic and acting insane, was pulled over, arrested. Hold on. I got that video. Quick second. Let me pull that up for you. We'll get right to the heart of the matter here. Here it is. Oh, shit. All right. Now, this is him being pulled over.
I am in a citizen. You work for me. Okay, all right? Do you understand that? I don't work for you. Yes, you do. I pay your taxes. And you do not work for me. Step back. You step back. All right, you're going to stand right there, and I'm going to stand right there.
That's just the beginning of the tense and surprising.
If I was that cop, first words out of my mouth would have been, "Sir, could you say down the hill?" That is how close it is to Bridge Guy. In fact, man, hey, man, let me do this. I'll pull this one up, man. This is Bridge Guy walking, okay? And you will note the identical way that he does that. Hands in pockets, head down. Hands in pockets, head down. And that is why I'm telling you TB did it. That's just one reason. I actually have a lot of others. Icons is calling in? Oh, hell yeah. Fucking right, man. Icons. So it's good to talk to icons. Oh, Incognito Society. Wow. You know what? Man, for everybody calling, I don't hear no phone ringing. Hold on. Maybe I'm just not hearing correctly. No, it's not ringing. I do not. No, it ain't ringing. Oh, sorry. Yeah. For everybody calling, like nobody's actually dialing numbers and shit. A little odd. Yeah, Incognito is good, man. I watch your channel. And you know what? I shared it out and I got 3 more shares too. Right on Incognito. You know what? You're going to be big one day. I can't wait. Sue Wright, man. Wow. Holy shit. Man, there's like 3 different people calling me. And I can't wait for the phone to ring. Yeah, it'd be a good time. Yeah, phone's dead, man. Nutty. All right. 47 people here, and I'm sure they're not just sitting waiting for me to wait for a call. So let me make a point. Whatever point that it was that I was getting to. Does anybody remember? Anybody? No? Okay. Yeah, you know what? Right. Yeah. You know what? I do. I really, really do. And you know what? Working on that. Literally am. Literally working on something with that. But yeah, you know what? I have shit. I want to say it's 128, but I added more because I'm still jotting other shit down just to make sure that there's nothing missed. But once I have all of that, then I need to pass that along to someone who can write. Okay, someone who can take those facts and create a story, because I'm not a person that can relate it into a story. I can give it in a factual basis, like, well, at this point, this happened, at this point, this happened, but I can't draw that into a story. Others can. And that's who I will be depending upon. Those people who can. But there will be a book released, and it should be released before 2020 is over. That's my hope. By Michael J. Katt, for one. Oh, okay. Let me get to that. There you go. Sue is calling. I'll be talking to Sue in a minute. Go ahead, Sue. Call. She's in a hot tub. She's calling from a hot tub, man. Anybody ever watch Hot Tub Time Machine? That was pretty funny. We got a kick out of that, man. It was said at a better time, man. Like back in 88. Good times in 88. Every day. Oh, hey, man. Be Sue. Hello? Yeah. Who's this? I see. Hang on a minute. It's Miss Cavalier calling. You're on live, though, okay?
I'm on live.
You're on live.
Hey, how long do you think it might take if law enforcement is waiting for Thomas Bruce's confidant to tip him in?
His confidant?
His wife, a friend that he told, somebody that knows.
I don't think anybody knew. I don't think it's in his personality type. I really don't. I think that he wanted that exclusively secret because, and I say that for this reason, man. All of his crimes were crimes of opportunity. Okay. He didn't go stalk him. He didn't hunt him down or anything like that. They were all in places where, hey, nobody's around. I can get him to my car. Nobody's around. I could get them into my car under false pretenses and then pull off the crime. All of it was opportunistic. You see where I'm at? So I don't think, being an opportunistic sadist the way that he is, that he would have went out and then expressed that to others like, dude, you're never going to believe this, man. I was leaving the bar one night. She's just fucking totally trashed, man. This woman on the side of the road was having issues with her car. Yeah, this is what I went and did. I don't think it would happen like that because this guy, man, Thomas Bruce, man, he was a great guy. That's what everybody said. Man, he was a great guy, friendly. Man, just a compassionate, loving soul. I mean, that's what everybody thought. So I don't think he ever expressed it to anybody, ever. I think it was always his secret. And I think that goes back into, God, his early days, man, probably back toward puberty.
Well, I'm curious because the I-70 killer that has never been caught. You used to walk into convenience stores and little out-of-the-way places that always had women working.
Yep.
And it seems like Thomas Bruce may have that same
MO?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Now, you know what? Here's how this lies, man. Now, I go back because this was probably, and you could check my channel, man. Like if you go to my channel and then click on the video tab and look back at right about a year ago, I did I-70 killer. Now, when I did that, I was looking up the I-70 killer because I was looking at the different routes to Fort Wayne. Now, when I said that I-70 was one of them, they said, well, the I-70 killer was never caught. Do you think it's him? So I had to go look up the I-70 killer. Now, the I-70 killer, and it kind of works like this. He would go into, say, like a convenience store, one that he was stalking. He would stop. He would see that there was a woman that was working. He would wait till nobody was in the store, and he would go in. He had a .22 pistol. And he'd say, yeah, man, can I get a pack of Marlboro back there, right back there on the shelf? And when they turned around, he would pop him in the head with the .22 and then leave. Silent .22 because he didn't want to be heard. Now, he was a thrill killer. That's all he got out of it, was just killing women. So I didn't put him and Thomas Bruce in the same light. I think that Thomas Bruce is an opportunistic sadist killer. Generally speaking, sex is all of it's built for that his sexual gratification. You see where I'm at? He don't care if they're elderly. He don't care if they're middle-aged. He don't care if they're 9. It's about the brutality of it, the humiliation. That's what he seeks to get that sexual gratification. Well, the I-70 killer never did any of that. He just popped the women in the back of the head and abruptly leave quickly, not even leaving anything behind. It's two different types of killer by their modus operandi. And it just doesn't fit Thomas Bruce to me at all. In fact, I'll tell you what's weird about you bringing that up. Last night, I watched John Kelly, Profiler. You know who he is? Okay. I watched his latest, and I think it was part 19 that he was doing on the Delphi murder case. And this is some of the things that he said. Now, I kind of put John Kelly, Profiler, in a pretty high light. I mean, from my understanding, he profiled Gary Ridgway. All right. Now, when I was watching through the I-70 killer, I happened upon what looked like it was staged kind of like a reality show. I mean, you know how they do today. They're talking about the I-70 killer. Well, suddenly, weirdly enough, by my total surprise, and I was already to this side, that the I-70 killer was a thrill killer. That was what he did. He got his thrill out of just popping a woman in the head and leaving. All right. Now, who in the hell do you suppose was on that show talking about him?
I have no idea.
John Kelly, Profiler.
Really?
Yeah, this was like a primetime show, man, where they was talking about the I-70 killer. He said the identical words to me, and if you watch that video, I said, you know what? For the first time ever, I'm going to repeat somebody else's words here, because I had already came to the same conclusion. The I-70 killer was a thrill killer, you know, but the Delphi and all of the rest are all sexually motivated. Well, the I-70 killer didn't have that. He wasn't, they're not one of the same people. They got a different MO altogether.
Well, you know, I'm wondering, and I know men do this generally. This is not a sexist statement.
Oh, I masturbate.
It's fact. Men compartmentalize a lot better than women do. We have a tendency to mostly put it all out there. But men hold it back, and they seem to be able to, you know, put it up on a shelf and let that behavior go. And it doesn't interfere with their normal lives. And I am really interested in how people do that because I can't.
You know what?
If,
I'm the same way. You know, I am. In fact, it's hard for me to tell a little lie, because when I'm telling that lie, I know I'm lying, and it hurts my conscience that I am lying. You know, and I have had to lie to cover my ass. You know, but at the same time, I know that I'm lying, and I feel that. Now, these people that compartmentalize like that, and I'll use Ted Bundy as a prime example. He was that way. He said it was a very it was a piece of him. He goes, but it was very compartmentalized. It was there by itself, but it needed fed. He goes, outside of that, you know, he goes, I came off as a normal, rational man, hardworking, you know, good self-esteem, woo, 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 woo. Nobody knew but me. So I do know that people like serial killers can compartmentalize. I mean, look at BTK. He had to have. He had to have. Because here he is, man. He's got a family and, you know, loved ones, kids, you know, but he went out and did all this and then turned around and made mock at the cops for it. You know, they can definitely compartmentalize. But I think that in the case of serial killers, it's probably a part of their genetics that they can. Because that's maybe what makes them a serial killer, is that they can. If I'm making any sense.
Now, let me ask you this, because I'm curious. You just popped another thought into my head. Are you of the belief that serial killers are born or made?
It's nature versus nurture. I think that there is a genetic element involved. I mean, certainly. I mean, hey, you can't take a guy that would grow up to be all nice and kindly, and well, you could. I mean, through correct nurture, create someone like that, no doubt. But at the same time, normal parents don't do that. You know, we don't set our kids to go off and become serial killers. But now, if you have somebody that is genetically upstairs not correct, now then you got to feed the nurture into it. Because right along time of like puberty, that's when it starts to envelop their mind. You know, when they start hitting that sexual maturity, that's where the fantasies start taking over. Now, it's where it goes from there, because it's what they're getting out of their environment. Now, there are people that through that time and age, they may go out and have sex with a girl, but at the same time, it's what's in their head and in their fantasies that they really want to live that they can't do with the live living human. You see, they can't go out with a girlfriend and then go commit these acts. My God, you know. So they got to go off and do that in a safe area. Now, I think Monon High Bridge Trail was to Thomas Bruce, a safe area. It was away from his home. People didn't know him by face or name. You see where I'm at? It's an area he knew. He knew there wouldn't be a lot of hikers, a lot of people right there at the time. He could show up, and he was in hope, opportunity. But I mean, do you see where I'm at? I think it's more genetic and nurture. If you have somebody that is genetically adept toward murder and becoming that way, and you throw in the right circumstances in or around puberty, then that kicks their thought and their fantasy level up to a higher degree. That keeps building till there comes a day they got to live it. You see where I'm at? That's when they start stalking. That's when they go out and they try to find that person to perpetrate that on. Now, once they get one over and they commit that, then their confidence goes up. It changes their scheme a little bit. If anything was noticed and they see that by the cops, they know better than to do that the next time. This is how cops can kind of trace a crime. Like, well, this time it was done like this, but the second time after we had mentioned that, it was done without that. Could be the same guy. See where I'm at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, BTK changed his MO, I believe.
Yeah?
I don't know. He never used a gun, but he was pretty arrogant, though.
Yeah, he was. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I think the only time I heard him get emotional was about his family, and that was it.
Yeah,
But,
go ahead.
do you mind if I mention another incident that took place over the holiday?
Oh, no, please, go ahead.
Okay. In Morris, Michigan, in Swartz Creek, Michigan, there was a young man, 25, that got on the Grindr app.
Yeah.
And he was openly gay, and he wound up being murdered, by the looks of it, of a 50-year-old man that has been had police contact a few times with various dates escaping from his house and being reported to the police. And a month prior to the murder, which happened on Christmas Eve, the Michigan State Police were sent out to his house, or his neighbors, with, there was a young man there dressed only in a cape, a leather cape. And they didn't arrest or do an extensive investigation. And this is turning out like Jeffrey Dahmer.
That is.
And he may have hurt, or there may be more victims out there. To my understanding, they were back out at the house this morning with, I've read various things, but, the
Cadaver dogs?
cadaver dog
Yeah.
and ground penetrating radar. And he lives on 20 acres. My point is that he's been kind of off the wall and lost a job in March, and his partner left him in September. So 2 big life-changing events.
Yeah.
And here he is. And it's alleged that he killed this young man. The community is in shock.
I imagine.
And it's a very conservative area, much like Indiana.
Well,
And
the one
they don't
time
know how to handle it.
when we was
But,
talking about, go ahead.
It's gone viral. And I'm just wondering, there has to be something. I know the FBI is now tracking murders and serial killers in their computer program that's been designed in the last 2 years. And one of the problems that they have is that there is not one main computer system for law enforcement to check for DNA, for fingerprints. And I think you and I have chatted before about military records and how difficult it can be to get military records.
Well, I think that the thing is, and I think that this is what I had probably mentioned too in the past, is if it's military, okay, say I was in the military, they got my fingerprints and so forth and so on, but they didn't take those for anything legal outside of the military. So that's probably not hooked up to their bigger database of we're searching like the database. I think that database only comes in on arrests. You see where I'm at, where a person was arrested and they got their DNA or fingerprints. And I think that that's mainly where that comes into play. Now, a lot of times it ain't really the fingerprints, because those fingerprints will pop up anywhere. It's more the DNA. And if you have access to obtain all the areas where DNA is, whether it's legal to use that DNA. And that's where CC Moore came in with the ancestral DNA. That really worked great for her, but she wasn't using, how do I put it? They didn't give her that DNA thinking that John D. Miller's DNA was going to be there. But she knew that she could use that DNA to trace family like lineage traits, so that she could narrow that down to a family. and then follow that family down where she had to manually make out a family tree and say, okay, it's one of these two people here. So it's kind of, well, Sheriff Lesenby said there's a lot of hoops that you got to jump through in order to get through all the DNA.
Well, I did some research on DNA, and after the second page of reading some highly technical stuff, I really got buried because I'm not, I don't analyze scientific material very well.
I do.
It takes me a long time.
I love scientific data, man. That's what I delve into. That is my life is science.
It's your turn to get into the DNA because I understand, I have a basic understanding of it, but it takes certain types and pieces of the DNA, and they're awfully small pieces, and they have to have so much of it in order to replicate it, because usually that's what they do first.
Yes, exactly.
Replicate.
Exactly. They replicate the DNA.
So they don't destroy it.
Exactly.
And I'm wondering what you think the problems with the DNA might be, other than not being in a computer database.
Well, you know what? It could depend. I mean, understand, like my hands. I just touched this towel. Now that towel right there has my DNA on it. Of course, it's touched DNA, but it's the same as any other of my DNA. It's all the same molecule. It's all the same DNA. Now, depending upon how they got the DNA, say it was off of someone's an excreter. They're smoking a cigarette. They leave DNA on that butt off their lips, right? They could get it like that. But now there's also, and again, it sounds graphic and I don't want to be that way, but I could use this in a few of the cases that I've looked into. There's also seminal DNA, which of course we know where that comes from. Now, that is also a direct source of DNA because that is what's held there. You know, that is your straight DNA. That's what fertilizes the egg, if you see where I'm at. Now, that is a straight source of DNA. Now, you couldn't, if you had seminal DNA, you could replicate that into, you know, however much you needed. But that is a great source of DNA. Now, I know they have that on Mary Pryor and Dan Pates. I don't know what kind of DNA or from where or how in Delphi, but I assume that if they have suspect DNA that they had used and that they had a model of, and they sent that off to Quantico, it would be my understanding that it was a pretty good DNA. I would assume.
Do you think they did send it to Quantico, or did they send it to the state lab?
No. Look, man, I can find that, and in my next live, I'll show it. Sheriff Lesenby said in an interview, and it may have been in real early 2019, he said that Carroll County sent their suspect DNA off to Quantico right before Christmas of 2018. Now, that is just like 1 month after the arrest of Thomas Bruce. He was arrested November 21st, and they sent theirs off before Christmas of 2018. That would have been 1 month after. That would have gave the FBI time to get it back to Quantico, get it set up. I mean, usually like 10 days is what they're talking on a fast track, and get that set up, get that put into the CODIS, and then they could send theirs back out and then make a comparison. Now, that's why I feel that they sent their DNA off there, but it was Quantico. That was his words. We sent ours off to Quantico.
Well, then it should. I mean, I can't imagine that they are backlogged too awfully far. When, you know, it's obvious. I know they cover crime everywhere, but the FBI was on scene so fast.
Yes.
And I would assume that their regional CART team, the child abduction team, was there the next day.
They were.
Because they mobilize darn fast for kids.
Like I said, man, when the crime occurred, it was 2 missing girls. That was it on the 13th. On the morning of the 14th, the FBI was already in Delphi. Now, I question that. Like, why would the FBI be there so fast for 2 missing girls? No idea what happened to them. Why would the FBI be right there, Johnny, on the spot? But after further thought, then I'm like, well, you know what? Wait a minute. Because this right here is on the reverse date of Evansdale. Oh, hang on a minute, man. Somebody's knocking. I'll be right back. Hey, keep talking.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Keep talking?
Please.
I don't have very intelligent conversations with myself. I have real good conversations with my dogs. And that's it. So I can figure out quite a bit of the Delphi case and know what's missing. But I can't totally understand law enforcement waiting so long and having these long periods of dead silence and not going on to escalate the pressure on whoever they believe they're waiting for that one tip. And I think they're waiting for somebody that knows. And I don't know if they're going to get it right away.
Well,
and I'd hate to see this case go on past the 3rd anniversary.
It will.
I have a feeling you're right.
But, you know, I say it like this. If they have so much evidence in Delphi, they have video of the guy. They have his full audio of the guy. And that's going to take me back to John Kelly here in just a quick second. They have his DNA. They have his fingerprints. They had 2 people that seen him. There is no way out for that guy. So they don't need someone to go, yeah, he told me he did it. They don't need that. It's unneeded. If you see my point, it's clearly him in such a way that for somebody to say, yeah, he told me he did it. Well, thanks, man, but you're a year late. I mean, you see where I'm at? It's like, we've known he did it. Man, we got the 2 eyewitnesses that said, yeah, that's a fucker that did it already. Hello?
He could still be named a person of interest, though.
No, he is a person of interest. They have not called him suspect, but they will after they file charges. He has been named a person of interest, and that was right when it came out. But I talked to Kim Riley right after that, like right after the fact, man. And, you know, I asked him about that, you know, I'm like, well, I realize he's down there for 1st-degree murder. And he's like, yeah, and they got their hands full with that. And we ain't going to go down there and mess with their case just the same. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. I get that. But is that why it's going to take a long time to talk to him? He goes, well, if you're looking for a reason, that one will do. Because that is the point. They can't go talk to him until that case is over. As soon as it's over, they will. And then you'll hear of all the charges. In that meantime, until October of 2020, there won't be one word said about him. Now they may come out and make mention to something like that, man, just to be a dick at me. But the point is, man, I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, how many persons of interest do you think they have now? I've seen some numbers, and I'm not sure that they're accurate.
On Delphi?
On Delphi, other than Thomas Bruce, if they don't have the proper DNA.
I don't think that there's a one outside of him.
You think it's just Thomas Bruce?
Well, here's why. Everyone else that I've checked, and I have checked every single person of interest, everyone, I go through the same criteria, absolute same criteria, actually even more now, since more knowledge is known. But I go right through like all of that. Okay, now anybody else, like Garrett Kurtz, Charles Eldridge, you know, to name a couple. When I go look at them, the first thing I do is I look on my case to see if they had been arrested prior to February 13th of 2017. If they had, I know that it's a no-go. It ain't them. It is not them. I mean, I was told that after the first year by Trooper Riley. This is the suspect had never committed a crime before. We can find no trace of him. Well, if he's saying that, that's telling me the man had never been arrested before. And that holds true on every case. If you look at Mary Pryor, they have fingerprints and DNA. Now, why couldn't they find the killer there? Because it goes back to what you were saying, man. Everybody in that town, a little bitty town, like Burlington, like 600 people. Everybody's like, who in the hell did this? Why would they do that to that old lady? My Lord, man. I mean, is it somebody here? Is it my neighbor? You know, nobody knew. And if you got DNA and fingerprints and nobody's pulling up in the system, you can damn sure bet you that person's never been arrested. And that holds true on every single case that I think that he's responsible for.
Well, I believe so too. Yeah, the Mary Pryor was killed about 10 miles from where this murder that I discussed with you in Swartz Creek.
Really, that close?
Almost the same shock.
Wow.
That these are very, very small communities. I think Lennon was, what, 600?
Yeah.
When we talked, and I don't think Morris, Michigan, and Swartz Creek, well, Swartz Creek's kind of a suburb of Flint, but these are very small towns, and I'm just surprised that nobody did anything with this guy to get him help before this devastating thing happened.
Well,
because they sure knew he had problems.
Yeah. Well, you know, it kind of goes back maybe to compartmentalization. I mean, people like knew John D. Kelly wasn't right in the head. They're like, yeah, the guy never did like kids. Yeah, he was an oddball. That's for sure. You know, I mean, he blew up one time at Walmart, man, had a lady and her kid. And I think that they, God, what was it, man? They suspended him for a couple days, man, to like go calm down. You know, part of it's just in the brain like that. Now, there's some people out there, and I've met people like that, man. You look at them and you go, yeah, this person could commit murder, man. You can just tell looking in their eyes, something ain't right. But they never do. You know, hey, you know what? Those people may have it genetically in their head that they could have been. Nurture, different. You know, I mean, it's hard to say, man, the mind of a serial killer, not being a serial killer.
Well, it's interesting, and I'm still convinced. I play a little devil's advocate with you, but I am still convinced that you're right, and it is Thomas Bruce. I am not sure how much longer the family's going to be able to endure this.
Well, your checks in the mail.
Anna lost her only child.
Yeah, I know that. I know, and you know what?
That's just,
that is something that I'm always thinking about, especially like in a live video, because you know that was the reason, that was the whole reason that drew my attention to it, that of all things happened in Delphi. Now, and again, like I said, it wouldn't matter if we could give those families $1 trillion, it won't give their kid back. You know, it just won't. So I keep that in mind, and I do try to keep it to the straight facts, you know, because if I'm sitting here blowing theories, you know, and I'm just shooting the best sounding theory to people, then that's what I'm doing. I'm just shooting theories, and that's what most people do. If you're running it off the facts and the evidence and everything as it is and how it relates to a person, makes it a little bit different. Yeah, it is what barking. He's in the back room. That was my friend stopping by to ask me if I needed to go to Burlington. Anyway, let me get back to John Kelly here for just a moment, if you don't mind. So, Miss Cavalier?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Go ahead.
He was speaking in this last one he did, and I think it was Delphi Murders Part 19, something like that. Now, he brought up a good friend of mine, Greeno, and his reenactment video, which I think the whole world has watched. And he was talking about them crossing that creek at that time. And he's like, and yeah, it went up to like about their waist, which I think at that time it did. Okay. At that time, it went up to the guy's waist. Now, he's saying, but in February, it would have been much higher. It would have been up to those girls' necks when they was crossing that. Now, this is a world-renowned criminal profiler saying this. Now, I got on to there and I commented. I'm like, sir, look, man, no disrespect and such like that. But I think that what you're doing is you're taking things out of off a rumor, because he was going back and saying, well, the family was told that the one girl said to the other, is Mr. Creepy behind us? Well, what if Mr. Creepy was a moniker of a guy that was known locally that like was a pedophile? You know, what if that was the, okay. And then he was saying like, well, in February, that water would have been up to the girls' necks. I says, okay, well, but if all this is true, because I think that you're following rumor more than anything, but if the water went up to the girls' necks, then how's come the phone made it across okay? You see where I'm at? How would that be possible? It wouldn't.
No, and historically, creeks are lower in the winter.
Now, when I crossed it this last time, and you'll see this when I finally get that video out, and it is coming as soon as I get back out to Monon High Bridge Trail, I will make that video. But when I crossed it, and I showed right there, because it, geez, I have to lift my foot up. It went up about like this high. I mean, it was just above my ankles by just maybe 6 inches above my ankles when I walked across where they walked across. Now, the water was a little low.
What was that?
Shit, man. You know what? I got it on the record date. It ain't been, but maybe it was less than a month ago. Maybe at a month ago. So the water wasn't that deep. Now, in February, everything ain't defrosting at that time, but it was a nice day. But if you notice with the pictures, there was no ice. So while the water could have been up a touch, it wasn't up over their like waist. It wasn't up over their necks. It's impossible. It wasn't that flooded. In fact, if it was that flooded, the area where that they was at, where the bodies were found at, would have been flooded as well, because that would have been some very high water. But the point I'm making is that here he is, a criminal profiler with a lot of good things to say about the guy. And he's really taken like rumor into effect and then saying the water was up to here when they know that they found the phone and the phone was in perfect condition. So, you know, I mean, I questioned him on that, but I have in the past. I've heard him go like, oh, I've been viewing the Delphi murder since it happened. And immediately he came off with 3 mistakes, which I corrected him on. Politely. He came back in his next video and he corrected it. He corrected what I said. You know, he didn't give my name, you know, but I mean, he certainly corrected on the corrections that I had given him, because he had said like, oh, it's been this long. No, it hasn't. It's been this long. It happened on this date. Well, wrong again, you know. And I mean, and I recorded that video because I wanted that held back. But I think that the guy, I mean, he uses what he calls a team. And I think they look this stuff up. But when I hear somebody say that it was up to the girls' necks when they went across, and one thing, you're not going to walk across the creek if it goes up to your neck. You would fucking swim it, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, and if there was a phone that was in her pocket, waistband, anything like that, it would have been wasted before it got to the other side. I'm not saying that the FBI couldn't have went in and maybe withdrew that, possibly. But the point is if the phone was laying right there in fine condition, the way that I heard it was found, then it makes that very logical. And I don't know why he would come out and give misinformation. That just doesn't seem very criminal profiler to me.
Well, maybe his team there at his house or wherever he's at now isn't quite as accurate as the FBI team or his old profiling team. I do enjoy the 2 guys that he has on the 2 gentlemen professionals that he has on there. more recently.
Oh, you know what? I have not seen them.
Well, they come up with some real good analytics.
I like that.
And they're both psychiatrists, I believe. One was a FBI agent. I think he worked with them on the Green River Killer.
Are you there?
And that,
Okay.
pardon me?
No, something happened.
Oh. Well, something always happens. That's why I've got my phone plugged in right
Yeah,
now.
somebody's calling.
But, you know, it's just been amazing what you and Greeno have put out there. I mean, the maps, the analytics, everything is so well done, well thought out, factual, and has helped a lot of us really understand that area. Certainly, you know, the context between where the girls were taken,
Yeah,
and where they were found,
right.
and everything. And the only thing that I'm really disappointed in is law enforcement. And I'm not exactly sure why. I just don't have a good feeling about what they're doing.
Well, you know what? I don't fully take your side on that. I don't. But
It's okay.
well, I mean, I'm looking at it from law enforcement's side, and one, they want to talk to the guy. They want to get that down. They want to get any information from him. They got him. They know they got him. They want the full lowdown. Will you confess verbally? Will you write it out? Woo, 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 woo. We want it all out there. You know, they want that done. Because if they came out right, like, say, February 13th, the 3-year, I say, ladies and gentlemen, we got a man behind bars that we feel is responsible for the Delphi case. His DNA matches, and there was fingerprints. He's been arrested, and he's behind bars. That's all we can really talk about right now. Let's leave it at that. They're going to be like, well, what kind of car do you have? Where's he in jail at? What's his name? But you said, and the only thing that they can answer on, the only thing that law enforcement could give would be their investigation. Because they can't say anything that he ever said. They can't, they can't give a name, a quote. They can't do shit until they talk to him. And that's why they're being very hush about it, because they know that the guy's behind bars. They know that the guy can't do anything. They know that he's locked away. So by being quiet on it until at which time they can talk to him, that is what they're doing. And I don't think that they're messing the case up. Everybody says, well, we need more video. Well, it ain't about us solving it. This isn't about us solving it. They don't want us to solve it. They're solving it. What they want is the information. But once they got that information, once all that information was put into a bag, and they said, look, man, we got your guy down here. His fingerprints match the ones that were unknown. Okay. He was dressed like your guy. He looks like this sketch. He'd never broken the law before. Here's these pictures. Check it out. They take that to the eyewitnesses. Yeah, it's him, man. That's the dude. Okay. What did they do? After they send that off to Quantico, they get that back. The FBI is like, yeah, we got your guy, bro. All right. Great. Outstanding. We can't go talk to him. All right. Cool enough. Here's what we do. We're the FBI. We name shit. We're going to call it a new direction. All right. Tell them it's a new direction. Doug Carter comes out and says, you never thought we would change our direction, but we have. And I'm all like, what do you mean change your direction? You ain't changing shit, man. All you're doing is giving us one added word, video that you knew nobody could tell who it was from watching. And 3, you gave us a bullshit fucking sketch. It doesn't fit. Old information. We think he's 18 to 40, lived around here, worked in the area. Bullshit. If he did, the FBI would have had him in 2 weeks. Minimally.
Well, see, and that's what I don't understand. They're, from a purely analytical point of view, they are sitting back and taking a lot of criticism.
They don't mind.
Well, I would think, and the cops that I know and law enforcement professionals that I really do respect say that some of that pressure, when they're in a big case like this, becomes unbearable because people are constantly asking about it. You know, their friends, their relatives, people they socialize with and all that. So the pressure has to be significant to some. But I can't imagine Doug Carter going out and giving that kind of interview and saying new direction and the shack. And I've never seen a press conference quite like that one.
You know what? Firstly, it was not a press conference because nobody could ask questions. Did you know that? Okay. That's why it was a briefing.
Got me there.
It was a briefing where they could hand out information. And that is what it was about. Now, I could say it was fooling the public, but in a way it wasn't.
It is.
But in a way it is, but in a way it isn't. Why? Because Thomas Bruce hasn't been investigated. He has by the FBI, and they you know they know the lowdown. But here's the thing: they've never talked to the guy. They can't. So they can't hand out any information because the only thing that they would be handing out would be to his lawyer, which will probably be Manahan if I know how it works, you know. And the thing is they don't want their investigation out. So what do? They hand out old information that they originally started with.
I mean, don't you think that they open themselves up to so much criticism?
No.
And I just, boy, if that's the best the FBI can come up with.
Well, yeah, but it saves the case. And you got to understand that what they want is that case. They want that case bad because when he goes to court, they don't want anything standing in their way. They want to go in there and pound that gavel and say guilty as fuck.
I agree.
Well, that's the reason. And again, what they did was they handed out information that they originally thought. It wasn't false. It was real information. But the simple fact is, since they couldn't go talk to him, they couldn't hand out like the newer facts. So they handed out old information. Now, that's fine, man, and that's dandy. Do it that way. I was pissed. I was real pissed because when they did the briefing, I already knew who did it. And I was real pissed. I came back, man. You can go back to my lives, man, and look at the Delphi briefing live video I did that day. I was fucking furious. But after further thought, man, then I'm all like, I got it. I understand it. I know why. 46,000 calls, they don't want anymore. They don't want to investigate further. If anybody called on the new direction, it was deemed uninvestigatable. No need in even looking at it.
Tell me where this abandoned vehicle came in.
Well, in the briefing, he said that there was a vehicle, and I think this is the way he said it because he didn't give a make or model. He said there was an unknown vehicle that was parked. Now, he may have said abandoned.
I think he said abandoned, didn't he?
Yes, but it was a misstatement. And he corrected that the following day because it was the abandoned CPS building, not an abandoned vehicle. If the vehicle was abandoned, then he would have had to walk from there. They would have had his fingerprints right off that. You see where I'm at?
And that's what I didn't get.
So it was the abandoned building, not the abandoned vehicle. But he said it was parked there from approximately 12 noon to up to 5. I differ on that. I say he may have got there shortly before 12 noon, but he was out there by 3. He hauled balls. I mean, after he passed flannel shirt guy and got in that car, that's when he couldn't drive 55. That's when that motherfucker wanted to leave. He wanted to get the fuck out of Delphi quickly and did.
I agree. And I would venture to guess somewhere along a Heartland Highway.
Oh, hey, hang on.
He was on video somewhere.
1 second. Kanash, I don't have message. Please call back as soon as I'm finished with Miss Cavalier, if you would, and then
Okay.
and thank you for the tip. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
No, if you need to take that call, I'll disconnect.
No, it's fine. I'm running till 9.
Okay. Gosh, I've just dropped what I just said. I can't remember.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's okay. It's just old age, probably. What do you think is next before the anniversary? Do you think anything will happen?
No,
Are
nothing.
people happy with that there?
I don't know. I don't really go talk to people in Delphi. I mean, you say there, and I'm like, maybe 20 miles from Delphi, but I live in Howard County, man. When I go over to Carroll County, it's just to a dollar store, and nobody's in there talking. Now, Delphi may be different, and like he was talking about the cops, yeah, maybe some of them get a lot of questions and so on, and maybe they get tired of it. But I mean, like, if I was a cop, I would be like, you know what? You asked me again, man. Go ahead, just try it. But I'd be a different cop, man. I'd get files. I'd get charges filed. I know that. I know how I am.
Well, what are they doing with the Flora fire?
No clue.
That's in a bunch of litigation, isn't it?
He probably be there for life, because if Dennis Randall had anything to do with it, they ain't gonna touch him. There ain't no way. He's untouchable, man. He's the one that failed to feed us when we was in jail. That's where I met Greeno, when we was in there starving every day. Man, for like breakfast, they'd give you a honey bun and a shot of Tang. Swear that to God, man. They called that food. And as soon as they went after him for that, for not feeding prisoners, you know what he did? He goes, hey, screw you. I ain't sheriff anymore. Bye, bitches. And took off with the money, because he's a cheap piece of shit. Just like most of his deputies and investigators.
Well, that's an awful lot of death in one small area at about the same time, and that's pretty sad.
Well, 2. And I do give that to you. I mean, in Carroll County, 2, holy shit. And I mean, like, then when you throw in the other girl that went and killed herself down in Tippecanoe County, I don't know, man. I mean, I understand, because, like, look, man, in Carroll County, murder is big. Murder is kind of one of those things, man. I mean, like, it just don't happen, but when 2 girls, like, get abducted and, killed, and then it's a real bad light. You know where I'm at? It is one of those things. And again, I think that they want to keep everything on the low, because they want this guy, man. They want him bad, and I can't blame him, because I want them to want him bad, and I know he's it. I already know.
Well, I think that the investigative law enforcement team probably has most of the information that the St. Louis police do.
Oh, they do.
I mean, probably.
They do.
Go ahead.
They do. Go on.
And they probably have everything the FBI has on him.
Yeah.
And they know that they've got a solid case.
Yep.
And it will progress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sort of sad St. Louis got him first.
You know what?
And that's
an
awful thing to think.
It wouldn't have been the case. It would not have been the case, man, if Trooper Cherry of the Missouri State Police had arrested him for public intoxication that night. Or, excuse me, DUI. Because if he would have arrested him that night, he would have been hit solid. There would have been no court case down there. He might have had like DUI. They said, you know what, we'll settle. Here you go. Bye. And sent him straight to Indiana. Because that's how bad off he would have been hit. He knew that. That's why his hands were in his pockets, man. He was in a real jam. He knew it. Whenever he's like that, man, hands in pockets, he's looking down. I'm telling you, man, it's TB.
Well, in fact, it might be another case of law enforcement choosing not to arrest the first time there was contact, and then he went on to commit an awful murder.
Yeah, he did.
And the same as what happened up in Swartz Creek with the Michigan State Police. And I know it's a judgment call, and I hate to Monday morning quarterback, but maybe the law enforcement isn't doing their jobs as well as we think they are.
I think that they are. I really do. And you know what?
Well, in 99% of the cases, I agree. But boy, when there's a mess up, there's a big one.
But I don't think that there's any mess up, man. Look, even before TB came on the scene, they was very closed mouth about this. They didn't answer for shit. In fact, you know what? I'm going to just be truthful as I can with you. When I got that information out of Kim Riley, that was 1 in a million. 1 in a million that he mentioned that to me while he was on camera. But he did, and that's what gave me that information. So in having that information, and again, man, he may have took some hell for that. Like, what in the hell did you tell him that for? You know, because that's information that they don't want out in the public, because that tells the public, okay, all this shit we're looking through, it can't be him. You know, we're looking through sexual offenders. Well, if it was a sexual offender, they would have had him right off the bat, right straight off the bat. If it was a prior sexual offender, you know, he would have been fingerprinted, probably DNA, depending on the crime, all that. So I think that they was very closed mouth. They kept it very close to the chest. I think they did that rightfully. And once they knew who had did it, knew he was behind bars down there, they said, okay, look, we don't have to worry about anybody. That guy's behind bars, but we got a while till we can talk to him. We got to play dumb. Okay, well, FBI, since you're the federal government, please tell us dumb yokels how to play dumb. I'll tell you how. Call it a new direction. Could you call it a new direction? That sounds really good. Like, this time we're going with new direction. And that's what they did, man. And then they started handing out their old shit, started giving like some bullshit and a generic sketch, 18 to 40. Like, two grown people can't tell somebody's 18 to 40 when he's 53. Please. You know, it was BS, and I was pissed at first. But after further thought, I'm like, they did it by the numbers, man. They did it exactly by the numbers. That's how they played it. Because they're closed-mouthed about it. They're not handing shit out. And people make it sound like we're supposed to solve the crime. No. What they want from us is information to help them solve the crime. What I did, man, is I had to go through manually, without fingerprints and DNA, and connect all the dots, which is what I did. People, that's called some work, man. You know, I don't know where you live, but where I'm at, man, in my house, me and Wolf call that shit for fucking work. And that's been like 3 years. 3 years of following this case. I know this case in no uncertain terms. I know this fucking case.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I am impressed. And with that, Michael, I am going to wish you and every other person listening,
Woofer,
and every other person that I've ever chatted with, a very, very happy New Year.
Well, then I hope you have the very, very same, Miss Cavalier. And it is always good to talk to you. You are a wealth of information.
You take care and have a safe holiday.
I will. Thank you very much for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Miss Cavalier, everybody. All right, you can call in now if you like, Mr. Knish. Man, I know you told me how to pronounce that. I think it was something like, God, man, what was it? I think it was like Forest, but it wouldn't be Knorrist. Now, you might have to remind me. You might have to give me a reminder here as to how to pronounce your name. Call in for that reason. Right on, Mr. Bud. Like hearing from Miss Cavalier. You know what? Might have her back on again one day as a special guest. I like special guests, man. They make me feel special, like I'm a host of my own show. I feel like, I don't know, Michael Letterman, something like that. Oh yeah, don't drink that shit. Yeah, Pepsi Zero, man. Look, man, on my old channel, I did a Coke Zero review. I vomited. That's how ugly that shit was. Man, it's just filled with carcinogens. All right, I got 12 minutes. If anybody's calling, let's do it. What? My sister sent me a friend request? Well, that's fucking bizarre. Of course, she's my sister, man. Why send me a friend request? Just fucking call and ask. Oh, really? Someone is? Sweet. Well, who's calling, man? Okay, man, I'll ramble. I don't care. I'm a rambling rambler, man. I'll just ramble on all day long. Hey, okay. You know what? So that it's out of the way, I also man, I do wish everybody a very happy 2020. And you know what? 2020 is going to be a great year. It really is. And if you're pro-Trump, I think the only thing that could stop a Trump re-election would be a bullet. I'm not saying he needs shot, but my point is they can't win. Hello. Who? Oh, hey, how you doing, Nominous? Hi. So what's up, man? The what? No. Say it again.
What is your opinion on Carroll County Sheriff's Department?
Well, I've been arrested by him like 4 or maybe 5 different times in my life. I was always treated in a very harsh manner. Kevin Hammond is a POS. I don't like him.
Okay, so what do you think about the Randalls?
The Randalls were the cause and the effect of it. I mean, the Randalls are untouchable pieces of shit. Same way.
Absolutely. I grew up with one of them.
Oh, did you?
So he happened to be the arson. He didn't. I am not saying he created the arson. But he was the investigator for what was it, 4 children?
Yes.
You have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, but
Mom made it out. What mom's going to leave her children behind?
I don't know.
I was just wondering.
Well, I don't know that she left them behind. I think that they was upstairs and the fire had taken over the, I mean, from my understanding, I don't think that look, if she set it on fire and she arsoned that house to kill her kids, believe me, man, somebody's ass would have been under arrest. She wouldn't be out there screaming to the NAACP to find out who in the fuck did that. You see what I mean?
It's still an investigation.
Well, they say investigation, but man, that's Doug Carter. Doug Carter's a talking point. All he does is sit and run and bump his lips, man. Blah, 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 blah. We went out and we had a long talk with that bullshit, you liar. He didn't say Dick won to fucking Daniel Nations. Not until you extradited him back to Indiana. That was the only time they ever talked to him. All right, I got another call here.
All right, I got you.
All right, bye. Talk to you in a bit. That was a good friend of mine. So if you was calling and you would like to call back, please call back. We got 8 minutes. Be quick with it. punch those numbers, man. Wait, what? Man, I missed that. Oh, okay. Yeah, man. I'm very sorry that happens to you, Devil. Lay back on it a little bit, man. You know, don't get so intoxicated. I don't even drink anymore. And I got a still. Man, I guess I shouldn't say that shit, huh? Probably shouldn't. Not that it's illegal to have a still, it's what you do with it. You know, I just cook like wood roots and, you know, extractor essential oils. That's what I do. I'm an essential oil person because I don't drink. I wouldn't if you paid me. I would rather take a shot than I would a bullet. Or is that I'd rather take a bullet more than a shot. However, an alcoholic would say. You know where I'm at. All right. So 7 minutes remaining. Now, you see, when somebody calls, 2 people call. Man, I get off the phone, ain't nobody calling Dick. Oh, that's right. I didn't put that up today. Yeah, I call that on me. There's the number. If you got a comment, get on it. Hurry up, man. Thank you very much, Sue. You know what? Actually, though, man, it's with your help, man. You know that. And it is, too, man. Because, crap, see, whenever I'm making a point, whenever I'm seriously making a point, man, that's when the phone rings. Maybe I need to make more points. Hello. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's Kennick. Okay, yeah, man, do you mind going live? All right, you're on, bro. It's Kennick.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. You?
Not bad. Yeah, I want to wish you a happy New Year too, and
Thank you.
everyone out there. You know what really has me bothered? This traffic stop when he got arrested for the DUI. Usually, when people get stopped for those, and tell me if I'm wrong, but
Okay.
especially if you have other people calling in, like other drivers, that they, that this guy's driving drunk. He's all over the place. He's almost hitting people. That they never not arrest someone like that.
Well, okay. But let me take that one step further. They called in saying that the guy was acting insane and driving erratic. But what he did was he pulled in front of the guy, slammed his brakes on so that the guy would hit him in the ass. And that's and again, when the cops showed up, he's telling him, hey, he's the one that hit me in the ass. Why ain't you over talking to him? I mean, you know, total reversal.
But how about this, though?
Uh-huh.
Do you think that cop, when he went back in the car, whatever, he was looking him up on the license plate, that there's some red flag that came up from the FBI or something saying, look, hands off this guy. We're following him, or we want to see what he's doing because he's a prime suspect or something?
No.
And then the cop lets him go?
No. No, but I'll tell you for this reason. If the FBI was following him, stalking him, seeing what his routine was, they had way enough time, like way enough. I mean, I think that if they had any suspicion, any at all, because look, here's a DUI that should have happened. Correct me if I'm wrong. That shit should have happened. Now, if he was arrested for a DUI, no fault, no blame. He was intoxicated, pal. Now, once they take him in, they run his fingerprints, and he comes back as that person. He's legally hit. The FBI would want that. They would want him to be arrested. You see where I'm at? Because that would give them the reason to get his fingerprints, everything else, which was missing out of their profile.
Yeah.
See where I'm at?
Yeah. I just thought it was so strange that he would at the way he was berating that cop too. I know
yeah.
You know, to get away with that. Hell, if I ever got pulled over.
Holy fuck, man, dude, I'd still be doing time.
Yeah, you or me, you know, anyone else. But I said, man, what the hell's going on here? But yeah, you're right. They would have brought him in and, you know, maybe bounced him after that or something. But it was just something that was bothering me.
Yeah, because on the DUI, he was clearly intoxicated. I wasn't even there, and you could tell he was intoxicated. So could the cop. But the cop knew the whole circumstance. He knew why people had called in. He knew that he slammed his brakes on to get that guy to hit him, and he knew that he was drunk. I mean, that right there is a legitimate DUI, straight up.
Yeah.
Now, had he been arrested on that, the Catholic supply store sexual assault and homicide never would have happened. They would have had him by the balls. So I don't think that the FBI kind of stood in and said, no, we're watching him, let him go. Because, man, if they felt that it was him, they would have wanted him behind bars. That way they could have did the double check and they gave him the old wing dingy. You know where I'm at?
No, I know. I guess I've just read some stories where things have happened in other cases where the FBI were found. You know, it's like two different agencies and stuff you see on TV too.
Yeah, well, you got to watch television.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I haven't owned a television in 15 years. Believe me, I'm not missing it.
I don't have it either anymore. I just got sick and tired of, you know, all the news. You know, whether you're for Trump or not, but the way that they slam him every day.
Yeah.
I said no more. You know, I'll just get my news from the internet and YouTube. And,
you know what? You can pick it. And that's what's so good, and that's what YouTube's trying to get away from, is because I go back, man, literally 2 years ago. 2 years ago, if you went to Google or YouTube and you put in Delphi murders, my videos were going to take up the first 2 pages. Today, if you put in Delphi murders, my name ain't even fucking in the top 10 pages. You know, because they made sure that wasn't going to happen. They deleted my channel and said, oh, start over, pal. Bye-bye with all your 736 videos up yours. Because that ain't the way they want it. Why do they keep downgrading? Why do they keep demonetizing? Because they're trying to make YouTube like television. They don't give a fuck about somebody out there telling you the truth. They don't give a damn. Is it fucking Geraldo Rivera doing it? It ain't. Then fuck him. Fuck your truth. Yeah. We don't need your freedom of speech. Man, YouTube's an LLC. You know, it's like Icon said, man, we gave them the right, the people, and then they come in to take our human rights? Like, how is that correct? How do we stand by on that? We just do. We go, no, it's all right. We have it coming. Yeah, you're right. I'm not Julio Sanchez. You know, fucking whatever, man.
Right. I agree with you. I mean, I think that's like you said, they want to turn it into like network television, I think.
They do. In fact, I seen a video the other day where they was talking specifically about that because the journalist had said, well, you don't have a right to do this, this, and this. Well, no, we don't. Is what YouTube said. We really don't have that right. But what we can do is change the algorithm so that like ABC shows up, you know, over the top of everything else. Well, what that's doing is saying, well, if you're the real media, then yeah, you can tell everybody all that bullshit that they don't want to hear. But the real truth of the matter, like the shit I'm trying to hand out, you ain't going to see that, man. They don't want that in the fucking top 10. Fuck no. Hell, man, I could put something in and go back and search for it on YouTube under the exact title that I used, and it's still going to be like down at like 6th, 7th place under all these others that ain't even got the same title. That's the bullshit that like YouTube's going. I go back, man, like 6 years ago. I made $2,700 on one video back when they paid. It was big, man. I got like 660,000 views, man, within 2 weeks. I paid freaking huge. Last time I got a YouTube check, it was for $140. I forgot what month that was. You know, that's how long ago it's been. They don't pay anymore. They push BS over the real shit, like I'm trying to provide. Now I understand, man, that there's people out there, and I ain't naming no names, but I mean there are certainly people out there that's expressing like the latest rumors. I heard the other day, and they make a great looking video on it, and then people go watch that. Fair enough, man. That's their freedom of speech. What I say I don't do is I don't go watch those channels to get my information. I don't go watch other people's thoughts and opinions to narrate my own. You know,
do your own investigation.
Yeah, I watch the conferences. I watch what law enforcement says. I can look at the facts, the circumstances, the evidence, the way that I know them to be, and I put everything into a particular fashion. But I don't go watch other people's videos and then make up my mind on what their thoughts are. Man, that like boggles my mind to think I could watch hundreds of videos that people had made and then sit down all of that information, probably most of which was useless, and then try to base out a logical theory on what happened. This is why people think like there was 25 people under the bridge. The girls were corralled. They heard about it online. Bullshit. The girls thought about it, man, and her sister took him out like almost immediately. He was there 3 hours in advance.
They got some really bizarre stuff coming out now about these wild theories that, like you're talking about, it's just off the charts.
Yeah.
And they're giving them a lot of attention.
Yeah, they do.
And it's wacky.
It is.
It's just no sense.
You know, I find it hard to disagree with you, sir.
No, I don't know. You're right. I mean, it's just, but I guess that's the stuff that sells. And it's all about advertising dollars. I think that's because now on YouTube, Jesus, I mean, like if you listen to any music video, anything, the amount of ads on these things are just, they'll take up the first 10 seconds all the time.
You know what? I don't mind that. And I'll tell you why.
Why is that?
When YouTube started, the whole thing behind being monetized, because you didn't need 1,000 subscribers to be monetized. You start a channel, it's monetized. All right. You just click, I want my videos to be monetized. Well, they show that ad. Now, normally you can skip out of that in 5 seconds. No big deal, right? If I'm sitting there and I'm watching like a television show, let me use CSI as a prime example. I'm watching CSI. Well, when the commercials come on, I can't go, screw that. I'm just going to click out of that. No, you can't click out of those. You might go, might go make yourself a sandwich while they're on, but you can't click out of those. Now you can on mine, but I still get paid. All right. I still get paid for that advertising. So I don't mind that they have those commercials because, hey, 5 seconds, I can click through. I ain't got to sit and watch the whole commercial.
No, that's true.
But the difference is,
network television, or I can't remember what channel it was, a cable channel the other night at a friend's house, and I swear to God, there were more commercials than the length of the movie. Yeah. It was like, at every intermission, it was like 20, I think it was 23 commercials.
Holy shit.
And then which took up like, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes, and then they showed the movie for like 8 minutes, and then more commercial. I mean, it was just, I said, I had to watch, it's like, I'm like you, I don't watch cable or I don't have TV anymore. And I said, holy shit, this is like painful.
Yeah.
You have to watch this many commercials. Like you said, go make a sandwich or something. You have to be making tons of sandwiches.
Dude, you could have catered a family.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten so bad. But yeah, you're right. At least on the YouTube, you can opt out of it after 5 seconds. So,
but you see, the thing is that on YouTube, like, and I'll use mine just as an example. Like anybody else that's got a YouTube could use theirs. Yeah, I got that little commercial at the beginning. It's a commercial, and after 5 seconds, you can click right out of it. No big deal. The difference is that Colgate isn't making that money. I am. Me.
Yep.
Yeah, me, man. Mr. Corporate America. I'm making that money, not them. Well, that's when they start turning around and go, well, what are you saying? I mean, like a lot of advertisers don't like. Really? Did you ask Colgate? Did you? Or is it just your way of saying, yeah, it's not like you're on your knees loving the liberals enough? Because that's what it boils down to. Unless you're on your knees giving that big love to the liberals, you ain't going to get shit on YouTube. They ain't going to monetize. They ain't going to, you know what? I could say F you and they're like demonetized because they don't give a fuck. It ain't like I'm here making money on YouTube off of YouTube anymore. Used to be. That's how I did all my upgrades, was off my YouTube money. Man, I used to make good YouTube money. Man, today, man, I can't buy a monetized video. Man, as soon as it's uploaded, demonetized. Oh, hey, man, we can look it over in a week if you like. I mean, after your views are over, yeah, we can look it over then. Yeah, up yours, YouTube. They're a bunch of crooks. They know it.
Sorry to hear that, man. And it's just, you know, it's going to reduce the number of people like you that, you know, do it for the real reason, for the, you know, to help people find out what's really going on. And you're on the ground there, and you know, you're into it. You know, you're a good source for everything.
You know what?
Your channel, because you're there, and a lot of these other clowns. I mean, these people that are out there. I don't know where the hell they are. I think the ones in Australia. I mean, you know, being there where you are too, especially with this case, is critically important. And I don't think you get enough credit for that. But
well,
I do.
I think that any credit, anything like that, I mean, would happen after it's announced. Now, I mean, let's like fast forward. Let's take it up a year, and then they come out and they say, yeah, man, we got the guy, Thomas Bruce. Now, he also admitted and confessed to, and they lay out all of his murders. All right. Now, at that time, I wouldn't be standing here taking credit because I already have my credit. It's recorded. Okay. Because I'm going to be very joyous that, hey, Delphi got their guy. That's what it was all about right there, is Delphi getting that guy, because that is what remains of key importance. But the thing is that that's going to be 4 years worth of my time. 4 years worth of my time spent. I pretty much deleted my own channel on my own in a way, because I stopped doing what it was that I was doing. I had like, was it 8,700 subscribers, and most of them got pissed off because I just started running Delphi, and that was it. Well, it was in my heart about Delphi. You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to leave that be, but then they ended up deleting my channel, man, because it took up all of YouTube, all of Google. They're like, yeah, we ain't having that shit. They didn't want it. The FBI didn't want it. I'm positive that the FBI probably said, yeah, because look, man, my channel was fine for like what, 5-6 years. And then suddenly in like 2 weeks time, they're like, strike one, strike two, bye. And I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, they deleted my channel just in like 2 days. It was like, bam, gone. And I'm like, mother, are you kidding me? Just like that. And they ended my channel. So I had to go back to square one. Took me a while. I got to 1,000 subscribers. Fair, easy enough. I could make YouTube money, but guess what? YouTube money, that shit was gone. They done flush that down the stream. If I make a video, and it wouldn't matter if I was on here talking about my dearest love for Hillary Clinton, they'd go, well, we think he was being sarcastic, so we're not going to monetize that, because they're pieces of shit, dude. Yeah, it is what it is.
Sure. It's probably just going to get worse. Unless they get a competitor, you know, in there, but that's like, they're too big. Nobody can, I'd like to see someone else start up.
Start up what?
Another competitor to YouTube.
You know what? Because oddly enough, and it was something that you had stated earlier, and I forget what it was now, but it made me think of Icons, because Icons is the one that came out with that. Now, I don't want to give his idea away, and I'm not going to, but he wanted to actually come out with a channel that was kind of a video channel, you know, kind of like BitChute in a way. you know, something where it was more freedom of speech where anybody could upload, you know, and it wouldn't really have the downside of like YouTube.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that might happen maybe. I mean, you can only hope.
I'm in more of hope, man. I think it's a brilliant idea. I mean, there's a lot of channels out there where you can go upload a video. I mean, they're all over the place, but it's not that they can pay you, or if they do, it's like, you know, X amount, but it's the same. I mean, like say I owned YouTube. Okay. And I said, all right, all videos will be monetized. All of them. They will all be monetized. You know, and it really relates to how many people watch your videos. Are you entertaining? I mean, do you give good information? People will watch. Maybe you're not giving good information, but you got highly promoted shit. People will watch. You can make money. But at the flip side of that, YouTube's making money off of those sponsors. So YouTube's got to have their cut, same as anybody else would take their cut. You see where I'm at? But the simple fact is by demonetizing and then like raising the media, that's where they're getting their big money, because now the media is all like, yeah, we'll throw money all over this. Now, at the get-go, YouTube was a great thing. Today, look, it's a platform for people to hear you. That's it. That's all it amounts to.
Yeah. It's a good idea going bad.
Yeah. Well, it was a good idea that they made bad. I mean, YouTube changed it. YouTube did it of their own self-accord. It wasn't anybody else. It wasn't like people out here that was watching a video and go, I don't like that video. Then why in the hell did you watch it? Don't watch it anymore. You know, that's my thought on it. Well, is this video made for kids? Well, I didn't make it specifically for kids, but a kid could watch it if he wanted. I don't give a shit. I mean, that's up to his parents. I mean, you see where I'm at? It's like they're trying to low-key everything to where nothing can be monetized, so they don't have any payout, but they're just getting the big media money. And that's what it amounts to. That's why they're screwing us, just like the government. If you see the government doing one thing, then they switch to another. It's because this way their dick will go further up your ass. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I think if they're not careful, they may end up getting regulated, you know, by the government.
You know what? The last thing the world needs is more government regulation. I think the government needs to step off as well.
Oh, no, I know. I'm not for that either, but I'm just saying if they, you know, they're, or the government or the feds are going to sue them to break them up, you know, because they're too big, you know, and
but what would happen? We would lose that platform.
Or break it up into smaller companies or something.
Yeah. You know, I would like to see YouTube go back to the way that it was, because I think that back then people was, you know, when you look at the beginnings of YouTube, if a person hit 1 million views on a video, they was going to be on Oprah. Today, a kitty cat playing can make fucking 5 million views. You know, it's
yeah.
So it's more of the creators made YouTube big, and then they turn right back around to screw the creators and go, yeah, up yours, man. We don't give a shit, man. We're Google. We own the world. Up yours.
Well, I mean, it's weird. Like when I put on YouTube, and because I go to your channel and watch you, it's like, yeah, it's like you said, I don't have you coming up first or second or third.
Yeah.
I've got animal videos and other stuff. I watch the news, you know, but you're news, I think. But you'll come up later. But you're saying back when they first started, you'd be right at.
Oh, shit. Look, my old channel, which was under my real name, Michael Stroop, they deleted it. I mean, I had like 8,700 subscribers. I had, I was making at least minimally $300 a month just on YouTube money. I mean, that was it. There wasn't even a donation asked for. I mean, like donation. Why would you ask for a donation, man? This is like YouTube money. I mean, like,
because you were starting to cover the Delphi stuff.
No. This is before that.
Oh, before that they canceled me.
No. I had my old channel and I had 8,700 subscribers, but then Delphi happened. Okay. So
all right.
now what I was doing was I was giving world news, why, this kind of thing. I had like, I think 3 different viral videos that made quite a bit of money, even other ones just on, like past views. If I didn't make a video for a whole month, I was still going to make $300 just on old views. That's how it started originally, when they would pay. Like when I uploaded a video, it was good to go, man. It was monetized. Yeah, you're making money. People are viewing it. You make 660,000. Here's $2,700. Have a nice day. That was the good days of YouTube, but they started changing that. You know, now when you put a video up, it's demonetized instantly. They don't even give a fuck.
What happened to all those videos? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, they deleted it with my channel.
So you don't have access to those at all?
No, not anymore. There was a few that I had saved back on my old channel from my food challenges, but that was it. I mean, 736 videos deleted, all of it, gone, wasted it.
That's your intellectual property.
Yeah, I understand. I get you. I do.
I think you might have a good lawsuit against them.
You know what? I'll reach icons.
You know? Yeah, I think maybe we could talk off the line.
Yeah, man. Give me a call.
Yeah, because I've got some ideas.
All right. I'd love to hear 'em.
Yeah. So I will. Okay, well, look, I'll let someone else call in.
Well, I'm going to end the show here. I mean, I've already been on here for 3 hours and 20 minutes, and there is a bathroom break happening.
Yeah, I know. The time goes by fast. But look, again, Happy New Year to you. Have a safe one, you and Wolf.
Hey, man, you too. And I appreciate the hell out of you calling. You know what? I'll get you. I'll have your name correct next time.
Yeah, mechanic. It's kind of like, just remember, like car mechanic.
Mechanic. Why was I thinking forest, man? I was like, way the fuck off, dude.
Yeah, well, or panic, like time to panic.
Panic, mechanic. All right.
Yeah. So any one of those work.
All right.
It's a Czechoslovakian, Austrian name. So
a Czech name, very cool.
It's kind of like Munich, you know, if you think of Munich.
Oh, Munich. Yeah, yes. Right. You know what? Connection made.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Just like that.
All right.
I don't have an easy name like you, like Katt or Stroop.
Yeah, Stroop. You know what? Nobody pronounces Stroop right. They say, is that Michael Stroup? Is there a Stroup here? No.
Really?
Yeah. Stroup. I've heard it quite a few times. Nobody ever calls it Stroop. I'm like, it's like soup with the TR. Well, it looks like group. Why couldn't it be how in the hell how did that one go? My drill sergeant made me pronounce it Stroup.
Stroup? Oh, I never heard that.
He did. I had to do my name in phonetic alphabet, and I'm like Private Stroop, Sierra, Tango, Romeo, you know, and he's all like Stroup. Drill sergeant, it's Stroop. Stroup.
He's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Private Stroup. Sierra, Tango, Romeo, Oscar, you know. He was just being funny. You know what I mean? I mean, he wasn't being like, he was being like serious, but not serious. He was a good dude, man. I like Drill Sergeant Bush. He's a good guy.
In the Navy and also in school, but like whenever they get close to my name with the K, and I have to like yell it out to pronounce it because they'd always get it really wrong. I say, Katt, yeah, I'm here. And then, okay, because they'd say something like Canooch, you know.
Canooch, yeah.
Yeah, they got everything.
I can see that.
Wish I was like Smith or Jones, just had an easy one, but.
Oh, you don't want to be a Smith or Jones, man. Man, everybody's a Smith or Jones.
Yeah, you're right. It's a little unique. So, but once you know how to say it, it's easy. So, All right, Michael, I'll let you run, and talk to you again soon.
All right, man. You have a very good New Year, Mr. Kanik.
Yeah.
Canuck.
Is this a good number to call you back offline?
Yeah, yes, it is. This is my home number. I shut it off normally at about 12 midnight, and I turn it back on at about 10 in the morning.
Okay, and again, you're Eastern time, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm Central. I'm in
Okay.
New Orleans. So, okay.
Well, you could call me at 9 in the morning. That'd be fine.
Yeah, maybe in the next couple of days.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Right.
You have a good New Year.
All right, you too, Mike.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, that wraps it up for me, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate every single person here tonight, even the ones that are drunk, even the ones that are going to a party, even the ones that's just going to get lit, no uncertain terms tonight. I appreciate you being here. Hope I handed out some good information anyway, or at least I hope some good information followed along that got to you. You know, that's my bigger hope. And I will catch you in my next video, everyone. Have a fantastic 2020, and I will catch you later. Peace, y'all. Thanks, mods. You guys rock the most.